If you touch this, you're French.
What are you talking about?
And gay.
You cannot buy the military experience. You gotta go die for gay rights in Botswana like the rest of us.
Reddit, are you getting this? It's gonna get so many updates. This is the German Turbo Twink Obliterator 9000.
What happens if a police officer runs out of magazines in a gunfight? A couple of things. Number one, hopefully you shot the police officer and neutralized them. Number two, grab your knife and go at them. I mean, that's...
Good evening, everyone. Hope you're all having a... I think Austin might have muted himself there. But good evening, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful time tonight. Today, we are bringing on Johnny Q and Vintage Warfare. Austin's still muted, trying to figure out how to talk online. He'll get it someday.
Technology is hard.
But today, we're going to have these two guys chat it out for the most part. Now, I'm not as familiar with Johnny Q's content as I am with Vintage. Vintage I've known for a little while. We've chatted a little bit in the past. But yeah, they've been going back and forth. Vintage has been doing some memeing and, there's some talk of whatnot. And so I thought it'd be a good time to have them both on in a more neutral position and talk it out, so to speak. Things might get a little bit crazy, but they're essentially just going to go mano-y-mano, and I'll be here as kind of a moderator. Now, before we get into that, while you're here, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe, as that is all free and does help us out quite a bit. And why don't we start out with some introductions? Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Johnny?
What's up, guys? Johnny Q here. If you don't know who I am, I'm on YouTube. I make content, and that's what I do. So, welcome.
And what's your background a little bit?
Just like in life, or how I got here?
Yeah. YouTube background, because I know that it's probably going to come up, but I believe you were a police officer for a little while as well, so you have like some experience and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, before this, I was doing marketing for a lot of companies and brands, and then I moved into more marketing, and then I went into police work for about a couple of years, and then we moved for just personal reasons, and now I'm doing with this. So,
gotcha. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Austin, Vintage Warfare, sir. Thank you for coming on tonight. Go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody if they don't know you for some reason.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Oh, you can hear me. All right. So this is Austin of the Black Rainbow channel. I'm here to do Mortal Kombat with my sworn YouTube enemy, Mr. Johnny Q. My favorite painter. I hope he likes the hat. Painter appreciator hat right here. If you get the joke, you get the joke. So I started my channel out as Vintage Warfare, and I have a love for older firearms, military aesthetic firearms, all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, that's where it's at. And now I'm at just shit posting online because it's fun. And yeah, go ahead and follow Black Rainbow channel, by the way. Shout out to him. And we'll go from there. Yeah, that's my introduction.
Sweet. So to get it kicked off a little bit, why don't you two talk about when all this started, how all this started between the two of you? Because it was, if I remember correctly, it was Vintage memeing on some of your shorts content, Johnny?
Yeah, okay. Can I just say, I have no idea who you were up until like 2 months ago when I got sent your content about me. I don't know. I have
That's
no
funny.
idea. I have no idea where the beef is. Like, I don't know you as a person. I don't watch your content. But after seeing what you make, I'm like, do you like to shit on people for fun? If that's what you like to do, then that's cool. But I just don't know, like, why. Like, I probably understand why you would do what you do. But as far as like the beef goes, I think it's one-sided. Also, I do want to ask you this. You said in a podcast with Admin Results that you would like to box me. I gladly accept that. When would you like to box?
Okay, well that's fine. Yeah. If you want, if you
No.
want to do
When would you like to box? When would you like to do it?
Oh,
Let's do
I
it.
see. He's
Let's
doing
set a
the
date.
Andrew Tate thing. All right.
Yeah, no.
I'm more
You
than
did
okay
the
with that.
anti-hate thing. You called me out. Let's box. Let's do it.
No, I called you gay, is what I said. I think your content is gay. I think that you
That's
shill
fine.
garbage. I think
Okay.
you shill garbage.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. And the boxing thing, that's fine. If you want to do that, that's cool. But we're gonna have to set that
So,
up.
We can talk
to
about
come on here. The live stream immediately go to the boxing joke
Sure.
made on a podcast.
So we
That's
can talk
fine.
about the product. We can talk about the products, but I'm asking you this. You called me out on a very public podcast, and you said, hey, or Admin asked you if you would like to box Johnny. You said, yeah, let's box. And then you were going to say something, and then you backed out. So I'm asking you, do you want to box?
Okay. All right.
You
We're
wanna
gonna do the
set a
tough
date
guy
to
thing.
box?
All right.
No?
Yeah. No. Sure. If you want to do that, that's fine.
No, but
If
you
you want
called
to do that,
me
that's
out.
fine. But it's one thing to ask me to box. It's
You
another
asked
to not
me
have it
first.
planned out before then. But I'm
You asked
totally
me
accepting.
first.
If
I
I didn't
had
ask you shit, but I'm down.
if
Who
I
are you
had
getting
asked
at
you
here?
first, this is how it would go. If I asked you first, I'd be like,
Okay.
yeah, let's set a date 2025 and let's box.
Sure. Yeah.
But you were like, yeah, I would like to box Johnny Q. Or Admin said you want to box Johnny Q, and you were like, yeah, let's.
We'll get it right. Which one is it? Admin made a joke about boxing you, or I said I wanted to box you. If you
I'd
want
have
to do
go
that, that's
back,
fine.
But I'm pretty sure.
This is you challenging me. I'm saying, all right, fine. As long as you plan everything out, all good. I like the strategy here you're doing. But I called you out.
It's
You
so
fucking
funny,
laughing at
dude.
it.
Anyway,
What's funny about it?
You don't want to box.
What's funny about it?
totally
Watch
get
the
it.
podcast. I
What's
told
that?
how many times I got to say I'm down. How many times I got to say
But
I'm
you
down?
called me out first. But you called me
Because
out
you're
first.
because I called
I
you
don't
out on
know,
your
like-
content being gay.
I don't know you. Okay. So let's
Okay.
go to that. You
What
think
is-
my
you-
content is gay, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Correct.
tell me what you think is gay about it.
Because you're basically a fucking what you are is a what is it? Hot tub streamer, but with guns. You whisper sweet nothings into the camera. You play with bubble wrap. You will shill anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
let's be specific here, right? You're Austin, right? That's your name. Let's be specific, Austin.
Mhm.
Why don't you like my content, and why do you think it's gay? Like, be specific, right?
I could go on multiple fronts on this. So I think for one, your content appeals. Are you gonna let me talk, or are you just gonna like try and talk over me here? So your shorts, literal nothing content. Okay, how many Skittles can I fit in this M16 buttstock? Let me do this review on a rifle, and I shoot at a gong 25 yards away. This is excellent gun review content. You legitimately will put real optics on Nerf guns or what, vice versa. It's slop. It's slop. You don't actually provide anything to the consumer, which is exactly what you are. You are somebody who will take these sponsorships. You will do this content on these firearms and products that they send you, and you provide nothing of merit. Okay, that's just one. If I go through the ASMR content you do, which is very feminine, right? You're sitting there, you're doing this like tap thing. You're a hot tub streamer with guns. That's what I'm saying. That is legitimately what I'm saying to you. You're not only a bad shill, you appeal to Indian people and European teenagers. Gun companies send you product. You're not good at fucking even reviewing the product. And then you're like, what do you mean? I know you see what people make about you online. I know you see it. Like,
So
there's no way you're
specifically-
not aware of who I was 2 months ago. That's laughable.
Austin,
That's laughable.
I kid you not, Austin. I kid you not. I had no idea you were making content about me. Here's what I do. I make content. I post. I go through comments, and then I don't scroll through other people's YouTube pages.
Okay.
I watch American Outlaw. I watch Grand Thumb, and I watch ASMR videos and watch videos because I love watches.
Can I?
That's
I'm
literally
interject for a second. Let me interject here for a
Okay.
second. So one of the things that has come up a lot and that I've seen is the ASMR content. So like that's not my thing at all. What is the appeal of? Is that like something you enjoy watching or people enjoy watching? I've never gotten that ever with anything. So maybe it's just not my thing, but I don't get it.
Right. And I wouldn't expect people to really understand ASMR. Like I've been watching ASMR content for the last couple of years, and it helps me go to sleep because I go to sleep very late and I wake up very early. That's just my body wakes up at 2 a.m. and it's like it's ready. And I've had a hard time going to sleep. And I'm like, what can I do? So I've legitimately have watched ASMR to try to go to sleep. And so since
it's kind of like a relaxing thing, and then you just make
a ton of people watch it because it relaxes them, it kind of focuses them and makes them kind of come down to zero and kind of decompress for the day or for the night. And so for me, I'm like, I enjoy it. So I kind of want to make that content. And I tried making that content years ago, but it wasn't like hitting. And so I started to make tactical ASMR because that's what I'm into guns, I like gear, I like rifles, I like pistols, all the above. So let's make it tactical. And I started posting it. Funny enough, last night I posted on my community tab page and people were like, yeah, you should post some more. So I'm going to post another ASMR video this Saturday. I know you hate that, Austin, but like to your point, like, okay, you don't like my content. Cool. Some people may like ASMR. Some people may not like it. Cool. Like, I don't really understand. I don't think it matters. It doesn't matter to you. Like, who cares, right?
Right. Well, I just checked your community page, and yes, 2,500 votes with 83% of people saying yes to ASMR content. So that is,
And I've had people come up to me all the time saying, "Bro, I love your tactical ASMR." I've had guys at trade shows be like, "Bro, it helps with my PTSD. Like I watch your tactical ASMR because it helps me, it soothes me, it brings me back down to zero, and it helps with the PTSD." And I'm like, "You're kidding me, right?" And they straighten it out. They go, "No, not at all." And I'm like, "Well, that's cool. Like it's cool that my content like that can help some people." Now I understand if you're in this world, if you're in the gun world, you're like, that's super gay. Cool. Big whoop, who cares?
Well, I think to Austin's point is he's talking about how it's like just meaningless content. Well, I don't want to say it's like slop. How would you describe it, Austin? Because it is.
So what I'm trying to get at with the ASMR stuff is it's not necessarily that the ASMR in the way that some people do it is good. There are people with real examples that do gun ASMR, as you put it, tactical ASMR. The difference is I've even made military surplus ASMR. What I don't do is whisper into the camera like a woman and crumple bubble wrap, crumpling a flag patch. What does that have to do with tactical stuff? There's a way to do it. And you could say this is my opinion, but the amount of people I've had come to me and say this is cringe, gay content is probably on par, if not more, than the people who come to you and say. And by the way, of course, you're doing some content that some people are going to like, right? There's content that I do about getting young guys into military surplus because the prices are bad, right? But there's content that you do that is going to appeal to some people, but it's not going to appeal to everybody. YouTube, if you look at YouTube, the biggest content creators are people talking about other people's content. It is what it is. You are a public figure. If you are somebody who is offended by me talking about your content being not what some people enjoy, it seems to me that you're offended by it, right? I've had people make videos about me.
Austin, I'm letting you know right now, I'm not offended. You have your opinion, and that's
but he wants to box me. Yeah,
we live in America, and that's the beautiful thing. Like if you don't like my content, you can say I'm gay. You can say my content's gay. That's cool. That's great. Freedom of speech. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But I need to box somebody in the ring over it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if
because
you want
I'm not
to,
offended by it.
I'm not offended. I'm not
You
offended.
are offended. You are
I'm
offended.
really, I'm doing
you're
this.
offended enough to fight me about it.
I'm not offended.
You are though. I can see it.
I'm really not. I'm really not.
Well, then continue.
Like I said,
continue.
You have your opinion. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So
yeah.
Again, it doesn't appease everybody. You don't like it. You think it's gay, and it could be done differently. Then cool. I think you should try to do it. And
I don't want to do that kind of content. I'm saying there's ways that you could do it. Where look, man, I'm not making it up when I say that there are a lot of people who make fun of the kind of content you do. I know that you go on Instagram. I know you see it. So like and I'm not going to bring it up here, but I know you're lying right now. It's just look.
So I don't scroll mindlessly. I get sent those videos by my cop friends or the person that we both know. Like they send me those videos, but I don't like search
Who's
for
the person
Johnny
that we both know?
Which
one?
Which one?
Which one? Because to my knowledge, there's several of them. So I'm not even kidding. To my knowledge, there's several of them. So specify. If you're gonna do that, specify.
I get sent videos by certain people. I don't understand where your issue is or where the beef is. I am agreeing with you.
I think you're confusing beef with criticism. Okay,
but
I think you're confusing beef with criticism.
But I don't care about it.
Okay, then why do you want to fight about it?
I don't want to fight about it.
What do you mean? You started the fucking stream off telling me you wanted a box.
Okay, so going back to the beginning of the stream, I think it was the first thing that you went to was the Let's Box. Now, to be fair,
I said that because you had called me out on a podcast saying
I didn't call you out. It was a joke made by admin. That was what happened.
So here's what I think happened in that podcast. You guys had talked. You guys talked backstage offline. You're like, yeah, I kind of want to box that guy. I should bring it up. Admin brings it up.
Sorry, wait. What?
And then you're like,
about backstage.
He says, hey, do you want to? You have some words for Johnny Q. You want to box him? And then it's your chance to call me out. And then nothing happens.
That wasn't what happened. Rewatch the video. I'll play it if you want. I'll put it on my channel. Because that's not what happened.
I mean,
I'm down though. You challenged me. I'm down. I'm down.
Right now, if it's that big,
I'm all for it. But you started the stream off with this. I'm gonna fight you. But
no,
now,
I didn't say I'm gonna fight you.
I'm not offended. You are offended.
I asked, do you want to fight?
And I know that you were aware of what I was doing beforehand. But we're getting off topic.
Only because your videos were being sent to me, and I watched 30 seconds, and I stopped watching.
There's a video about you that has like almost 100,000 views. I know you've seen it. I know you have.
Bro, I haven't. I don't you don't come up on my feed. I'm sorry that it just doesn't come up on my feed.
It's not what I'm trying to say is I know there's people who've told me that you were aware of it more than 2 months ago. Bullshit.
I don't know
is what I'm saying.
Okay. So with all of this, why do you care so much about what I do?
Oh, I just like making fun of you, to be honest.
Okay, so you also call me gay, right?
No, not like butt sex gay. Can I say that?
You can say whatever you want.
Oh, okay, sweet. So not like butt sex gay, but more like rollerblades, in Miami gay. I don't know, beach rollerblade guy. That's more of what I'm going with. I know you're not literally gay, so let's get that straight. I'm not trying to slander you personally. What I'm trying to say is what you're doing sometimes is slop. It's not good for the industry. It frankly, and I, by the way, worked at the manufacturing level in the gun space in a marketing team. I know what they think. To see Springfield send you a rifle. You objectively do not know how to review a rifle. That is also part of my criticism. There's a lot of jokes to be made about the other stuff that you do. My main criticism about you is I think you will promote anything for money and not know how to even deliver to the company, let alone have goodwill towards the subscribers that you do have, which is 2.6 million. You got to lead a lot of people through the desert. If you don't know what you're talking about, or hey, this light versus this light, I don't know. You let me know what you think down below. What even is that?
Okay.
What is
so
it? What is it?
Let's touch on two things here. You mentioned the review side and then the light side, right? So here, let me give you, I don't know why I'm doing this, but let me give you an insight as to what I like to watch, what I like to make. All right. I like gear.
Furry videos.
What's that?
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I like gear. I like guns. I make videos. Here's a gun. Here's how it shoots. Here's some of the specs. If you have some money and you want to buy it, you can also go get this gun. I am not the full-blown detail spec guy. There are guys
so I'm going to give my
YouTube.
subscribers enough rope to hang themselves. I get it.
Well, so let's talk about this for just a second, because I also think there's a big delineation between like the more silly, like entertaining style of content. That's definitely not my thing. Obviously, isn't Vintage's thing as well. But the more serious aspect, and actually, if I could bring this up real fast, Reno May, he brought this point up, which is something that I was going to get to. But he says, for $49.99, thank you very much, sir. Guns are serious use items that deserve a certain level of criticism, even though he can't type correctly. Critical analysis, including a review of a defensive use firearm. Low effort, shill content of them to promote them is unethical and scummy. He's pushing bad products to people. So we don't have to get into everything in there, but when talking about there's content, when you're doing review content of like, say, defensive firearms or something that even like a light, that's going to go on a defensive firearm that carries more weight than like a silly skit video, right? So like when Demolition Ranch puts out a silly skit video, I don't care, right? You know, because it's a silly skit video. But if he's talking about like a product that he got paid to review or something like that, it carries a lot more weight with what he says, right? And that's where, for me, it comes into the sort of damaging territory for the community, right? Because I think that kind of content is actually bad. So yeah, I'm asking you, so what do you know about when you're reviewing a product?
I mean, just so you know, like I don't get paid to review guns. Like no one has ever paid me to review a gun.
So I do want to not necessarily push back on that, but if you get stuff for free, it's kind of like payment, not in a direct form.
Yeah,
obviously,
okay. Yes, I understand.
There is an incentive to maintain that gravy train, so to speak. So
yes,
obviously, sometimes there is direct payments, but a lot of the times it's not direct payments, right? It's people get trips, they get free stuff all the time, they get the early videos and whatnot. So a lot of the times it's not direct money, it's, you know, all the other stuff that comes with it.
Right. So
I'm not accused of getting paid for stuff.
No, of course, and I understand that. But in those long form videos, I do say X company did send this, you know, pistol rifle out for review to get on the channel to make videos with. Just so you guys know, I want to be honest, right? So that's kind of where I come from. And, you know, I talked to that brand or company before saying, hey, this is not going to be a super in-depth detail review. This is videos that I want to make that I would watch. Like, hey, I have $1,500. I want to go buy that Sport 2 rifle, right? Like I would go watch, how does it shoot? How is it? Not go into the specs and details because that's just not my thing. The brand already knows that I'm going to bring entertaining content more so than, you know, the education of that product, because they know other YouTubers have made good sound educational videos on that product. Now that's when it comes to pistols and rifles and all the above. When, you know, Vintage, when you said the thing about the light, I mean, I don't get paid by Olight to make videos. They have paid me to go out to an Olight event.
Now, on that,
so I'm not getting paid, but I'm being paid to go shill for Olight. What does that even mean?
No, so
Good
that's
Lord.
not what I said. Olight did pay
ahead.
for my trip to go to Olight paid for my trip to go to Olight event and just to see what products were there. I forget his name. He was also there. A few other creators were there, but like I wasn't paid to go there and be like, yo, you should go buy this light. Like they will send me lights as well, but I'm not paid to review those lights. Now I do have an interesting story if you would like to hear it.
I'll listen.
Okay. So I do like Olight. Like I'm a fan of Olight because I can't go into the details because there's a case on it right now, but essentially there was a very bad guy, shot a bunch of people, shot at cops, burned a house down. I identified this individual after days of trying to catch this individual in the city. I finally stumbled upon this person. We get into a car chase. It lasts for a little bit. He gets out of the car because he crashes out. He dips into the woods. I run after him. Now, after that, we had a whole entire SWAT team, canine, helicopter, like the whole bit, like all the cops in the city were after this dude. Now, I think the trek, the canine track was about like, I want to say 30 minutes, 35 minutes. I don't know for sure, but it was a long time. Now, there were a bunch of dudes in our track team that had the nice lights. They had their SWAT rifles. And some of them were going out and they were not providing light. Now, me, the silly rookie, had the Olight on his rifle. That Olight did not die that entire time. And I'm like, that's a proof, right? Like that's proof to me that Olight has work and will work, and that I have not charged that Olight in what, I don't know, over like 3 or 4 days. So that's my story with Olight and that flashlight and why I like it. And so to say that I get paid by Olight for every single video, that's just not true. You know?
Well, no, I don't think anyone's saying that you're getting paid for every single video. I think you do have a relationship with Olight, though. There is an exchange of money. There is an exchange of product, right? And to your point, by the way,
I have Olights that I have not reviewed because I don't want to review them. They're my thing. So like I have that. Like that's also, I just told you a story as to why I like Olight, why I back it up. I mean, that's my story. So like if you don't like it, that's fine. If you call BS, that's fine too. That is A-okay.
I wasn't going to call BS as to your point of why you like Olight, right? I've had conversations with other content creators. You're not the only one who I wonder why it is they like a suboptimal product, right? Now you might have
I like Surefire and Streamlight, and I put those on the channel. I don't understand why you're focusing on such Olight.
Because you talk about Olight a lot. And it's
when's
not
the last time I talked about Olight? Really?
Dude, you have a multitude of videos on Olight. You're probably most recent one was the O-Site. You're probably
the last time I talked about Olight.
Fuck's sake. Guys.
When's the last time? Tell me.
Probably the O-Site.
Actually,
is that correct?
No, lights. 7 days ago.
Right. That was comparing other lights. But when did I talk specifically about Olight and be like, this is the light you should get?
Okay, you're talking about Olight, the company. You're doing this like talking over me thing when I'm trying to answer you, and it's like annoying.
Giving exact details. Like, tell me when was the last time I talked about Olight? And
the last thing I've seen you talk about was the Olight O-Site. Okay?
Oh, the last thing you saw, not the most recent things. So you go off the last thing you saw.
You're retarded. My God. All right. So, look. When I'm talking about your shit, and you keep dodging, by the way, what I'm getting at. I started that off. You're being disingenuous. What I was trying to talk about was you not disclosing the fact that you have a relationship with Olight. Okay, that's number one, right? You have a personal anecdote. By the way, as a rookie cop, why the fuck should anyone listen to a rookie? Because it did a job one time. Olight doesn't have a good track record. That is not, a lot of people who are watching right now, I'm sure, know this. And I'm not saying all Olight products are bad, but a rookie cop being like, oh yeah, this Olight did the job one time, right? Like you're saying because you talked about Surefire a couple times, now you've never, like, I don't get what you're talking about here. I literally brought up you're not bringing up your relationship with O-Site. You're going off of one anecdote here, just the one time. Like, how do you not understand what I'm getting at? They have suboptimal products.
Are you done?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Like I said before, in that long form video about O-Site, since you keep referencing it, I did say,
which was shit, by the way.
Great. I do
not
say
your video. That product is not good. But go ahead.
I do say that they sent me that optic and I was not paid for it. That's what I said in that video. I tested that optic and it worked. And after that story I just told you, a few of those dudes ditched their lights and got an Olight on their rifle and pistol. There's no gain for me to lie to you, and that's okay. Like, I understand, Austin. If you don't like my stuff, that is a-okay. Okay. Like, I make videos about Olight. I've made videos about Surefire. Streamlight just sent me a few different rifle and pistol lights that I do put on the channel, and I talk about it and make content. Like, is that bad? I don't think that's bad.
I think it's bad when you're saying it's positive, and I have a reason to believe you have a relationship with the company. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
we've already established that, though, if we can. So there is, like, Johnny, you do have a relationship with the company, right? You've talked to them, you've been flown out, they've given you free. There is a relationship there, right?
And I would assume people with higher subscriber counts like you guys would have a relationship with certain companies, and that's just okay. It's like, how do people nowadays market their product? They have to go to social. I'm conduit, like, to that.
No, I know a lot of channels do. So I'm not necessarily totally against the idea of people having a relationship with companies. I personally don't accept product from any companies. That's what I do. I think I'm one of the few people that does that. So, but I'm not saying that practice is entirely bad. I think that there is a relationship there, some financial, because they did pay for that. Do you have affiliate accounts with Olight? Because I know some people do, some people don't.
Sorry, you cut out. You cut out. Can you go back to that?
Yeah. So there is a relationship there. You've talked to them, you've met them, you've been flown out by them, you've gotten free product from them. Do you have affiliate accounts with them?
No.
Okay. So you don't even, because I did look and I couldn't find one. So that's why I was asking if you have. So you don't even have.
There's no gain for me to lie to both of you or the chat. Like, they send me products. There's a couple Olights that I have not done because I don't want to do them. Right. So, like, I don't get paid. There's no affiliate program for me. Hey, you sell an Olight and you get an affiliate. Like, no, I don't do that.
Well, so is that because?
Yeah, I'll go. So something I do want to go off of that, though, is like what Austin is I think trying to get at is that single anecdotes aren't going to be perfect for coming to a consensus. So, like, I can have a great experience with like a high point, right? But if I go out there and I'm like, this is the best thing ever, then that's not necessarily disingenuous, because I'm not denying that you had a good experience with it, but it has like a bad track record, right? And so I'm not even pushing it on you, but I think that other people push Olight extremely hard. Like, every week there's a sale, they're pushing direct links, all that sort of stuff. Yes. So I think Olight has like a reputation. Even if I had an Olight product that I like, in fact, somebody sent me an Olight product that's on a really nice LaRue rifle that I'm probably going to talk about. I haven't even tried it out yet, but if I have a good experience with it, I know that I'm going to catch crap for having a good experience with it, and I haven't even talked about it.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that every single, like, the Olight that I used on that rifle for a year worked every single time. We had to clear houses, clear a building, high risk situations. Like, it just worked. So just don't take the one story to be like, oh, that's his one story, he's sticking to it. No, I have various others that go along with that Olight. Like, after about a year, I switched to Cloud Defensive because I really like that light. And it's worked. So I don't really understand. Like, I mean,
just out of curiosity,
a couple years, only for a couple of years, but out of like on a couple years, 2 years,
so
and then on my own
so
for
2
about
years,
7-8 months. Yeah.
Okay. So just to get some context here.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I was a cop for about a couple years, 2 years, but I was on my own out of FTO for like, I think it was like 7 or 8 months or something like that. I think it was like back in March that I got out of FTO or field training. So
okay,
that's
that's including your academy time and then your your FTO time and then when you were off probation.
No, I didn't count the academy. We had our own like 3 weeks of, this is how we do it at the department. This is kind of our procedures, policies. And then after that went on FTO. And I mean, yeah.
Okay, so it just by the way, I do have governmental carry gun experience, and I'm not trying to dox you, okay, or anything like that crazy, but because I know some states are different with how they do FTO. Like sometimes in the state I live in now, my understanding is now that they actually, this is different from the state that I used to live in. You FTO now, or sorry, the academy, there was times that you would be doing FTO type stuff, but during the academy, where were you around as a cop? If you know, state wise, just state.
I mean, it's very public. It's Columbia, Missouri. That's where I was a cop. So
Columbia,
I
Missouri.
did
Okay,
my
that's
post
I didn't see that. I've looked it up and I couldn't find
at
anything on it. So you say very public. I couldn't.
Sorry,
find
go.
it.
You're cutting out. I'm sorry. Can you go again?
I think your internet
I'm sorry.
is
Can
actually
you
cutting out a little
could
bit,
you say it
Johnny,
again? It cut out
but-
for me.
Yeah.
It honestly might be. I just got the studio, so I'm kind of working on internet stuff.
No,
but,
you're
so I
good.
apologize for that.
On my screen, you're freezing up and you cut out a little bit every now and again, but it's been pretty good. So Austin, could you go again?
No, so what I was saying is I live in a state now, not where I used to do anything. Now I just do YouTube and restore guns for fun. But I understand that some states are different. So like as an example, I live in Arizona. There are or at least to my understanding from people I know here that are cops, they during their academy, they do some FTO type duties. They actually have an active role in the FTO process, or like an FTO process, but in the academy. The reason I'm asking that question is relevant to the amount of experience you have in that role. And I'm not trying. By the way, I'm not trying to talk trash on you for doing that job. Okay, amicable. I think we all understand that we all have some kind of background in some government or police work, right? But so that's why I wanted to know where you were located, because I want to know, is that experience relevant from the time that you joined your academy to when you got out, right? Or is that 2 years just being on patrol or being a beat cop?
Yeah. Do you want me to go through that really quick?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So Columbia, Missouri. If you Google Johnny Q police officer Missouri, it'll come up. My graduation photo on there. It's very public.
Okay.
Well, they made sure of that.
It's a graduation photo. When I'm talking about patrol.
No. I'm giving you context, Austin, right? Because that's important. Sure. So there was about 3 months of academy where it was just strictly academy, right? Okay. I did that, graduated, and then I went into 3 weeks of, hey, you're at the department. Here are policies and procedures. You got to follow these, or else you're done. You can't lie, etc. All of the above. After that 3 weeks was done, I was in FTO for about three months. So there was phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. Like first day was on the street as a beat cop. We went to different beats, beat 10, 20, all the way up to 70. And after those 3 months, I graduated and I was on my own. Since day one, I mean, I was involved in some, as a police officer, there's a lot of stuff in Columbia. Columbia is in the middle of St. Louis and Kansas City. So all the gangs would come to Columbia, shoot each other, and then go away. So every night was bad. Like we were really busy. We were down 50, 60 officers. Sometimes it was just, us and then one sergeant. And then that's for the north. And then for the south, there was 2 patrol officers and 1 sergeant for a city of 130,000 people. And then when I got off patrol, it was worse than that. We were just losing officers left and right. So, I mean, yeah, that was my experience as a cop. And that's what I did. So,
okay. So now I have a fuller picture, of that. So 2 years experience, we'll just say on the beat, right?
Yeah, sure.
In 2 years of experience as a police officer, because I haven't gotten into this part, we'll get into that later. 2 years experience, I think you use the fact that you were a police officer as a way to market certain products, and I think it's very anecdotal. 2 years experience isn't a lot. And that's not me trying to be a prick about your time in, good for you doing it. I don't know why you left or whether or not you're I don't know any of that. Okay. I know you said you left, but that's not a lot of time behind a product on duty. Some people might disagree. I frankly, I think you need more than just 2 years behind any given product to really sell it. And I don't know, man. It's just what makes your opinion on an Olight product with 2 years behind it as a beat cop. Why is that? What's the word I'm looking for? How is that relevant to somebody, let's just say, has been a cop for 10 years with a Surefire? Because most of those type of dudes will be like, no, don't touch Olight, right? Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Dude, no, definitely. And so there's a couple things here that I want to just kind of make sure. And, so you're talking about the products, which I agree.
Specifically the brand or product. Yes,
for sure. So, and then on the flip side of that, like, I agree, being a cop for about 2 years is not enough experience. Like, I would agree with you. I didn't want to leave. Like, I didn't want to leave, but it was affecting my family. My dad got cancer. Like, a whole lot of stuff just kind of came together and compiled. And I was like, all right, I should probably do something for my family. Anyway, that's besides the point. So when you talk about Olight specifically, like, are we talking Olight or are the products?
Well, it's not just that. There was another product, I think, Guardian Light or Guardian.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Right. And I know those products are trash. Yeah. You did talk about those. Again, continue with what you're saying. I'm not gonna keep derailing you.
Sorry, it cut out, but I think I got what you said. I used Guardian Light on patrol, and so did other officers. I didn't use it every single night. Like, that wasn't a thing. But when I needed to find shell casings or bullet casings in the field, I'd bring that out and I would use it. Now, I wouldn't have it up here all of the time. Like, I would say, and you can talk to, the CPD officers, it was never on me. It was in my bag. Now, I had other officers who would wear it. Now, here's the thing. Guardian Light, I think that's your name, did not pay me for any of those videos. I just
no. I don't think they did. By the way,
yeah,
I'm not insinuating that Guardian Light paid you for that.
Okay.
What I'm insinuating is that is not a good product. There are better out there, but because of an anecdote, you were willing to promote that to millions of people.
So let me ask you this: Have you ever been on a 3-a-night 12-hour shift and had to go look for shell casings multiple days in a row?
I have, actually, yes.
Okay.
I do have experience with this.
Now,
yes.
Yeah, perfect. Now, you know that when you're picking up evidence, you have a bag or a tub or your evidence bag, right? And you have to put, I guess in our case, we had to put the shell casings in individual little envelopes.
Sure.
I had to have both hands. So I grabbed it, would log it, and that light would shine of what I'm doing. Like, that makes sense to you?
Sure, yeah, of course.
That's why I use that light. And I talk about that in my videos. Not that specifically because I couldn't at the time, because that's very specific to the crime that was committed, etc. But that was my experience. Like, every night I was using it for something to collect evidence or to be on a track when needed. Like, things like that. Those life experiences in those 2 years served me. Now, when I talk about Olight, I mean, let's say between 2 to 3 times a night, every single shift, I would bring out my gun, either to point it at something out and leave it in Sewell. Like, that is just what the nature was in Colombia. And so every single night, at least once, you're pulling out your gun. And every single time, my stream light sometimes would go out, sometimes it wouldn't work. And some guys would go to their Olight. Like, they just changed the Olight because they're like, how do you have so much battery left? So again, another piece of, like, that's worth for me, like, real life experience, right? So that's when I say I like Olight, that's my experience with it. I don't know if that makes you happy or make you hate me more. I don't really know, but, like, that is that's
so first of all, I don't hate. Well, okay, let's get this across real quick, because I don't hate you. I think that there are certain content styles that I don't like that you do, and I'm sorry. While you have explained certain things, I know the industry better, and at this point, I know it enough to at least question some things you're saying, but you are giving me context. I will say that. And yeah, I could understand a personal anecdote. You know, there's you know what? You'll get a kick out of this. I used to like the Springfield XD. It's a terrible fucking gun, though.
I would agree.
Used to shoot well with it, right? It's a terrible fucking gun, though. But it doesn't even matter because at this point, at that point in my career, I was already in like 6-7 years. You know, I thought this was shot great, but government employees don't actually understand what good is a lot of the time. A lot of them are very fucking inept. So I look at a company objectively like Olight, there are numerous amounts of other companies that make better products. And I have to wonder, right, if it's based on your anecdotes, that's fine. Understandable. But at that point, you know, if you've already been exposed to Surefire, if you've already been exposed to all these other brands, right, who make potentially better products, well, then why, at that point, why would you even you know what I'm saying? Shill Olight. You even said yourself, there are Olight products that you won't even touch for your channel. I mean, how does that look? There's not a Surefire product I can think of off the top of my head that I wouldn't be willing to say something good about based on the experience I have with it, right? It's just weird. You know what I'm saying? It's weird that you say that.
I mean, I don't think it's weird. I mean, I look at it as our phones. It's a phone company. I don't like Android.
I mean, they're both Chinese, yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of what they do for Android or their OS, but I do like Apple's. You know, like Olight is good, but would I use it on a pistol? Yeah, but there are other better options that you could choose, which I do talk about in that video 7 days ago. Like there are better options you could choose if you wanted a pistol light. And so I think it would be when it goes back to old days marketing, the word of mouth. Hey, I tried this. You should go try it out. It might help you too. Oh, you don't say. Goes and buys it. Oh yeah, it's a great thing. And it just compounds. Nowadays, it's social and everybody has an opinion, which is just fine. Again, when we switched to our Glock 45s, we went to Streamlight. And I was like, guys, we should not be carrying these Streamlight lights. We should go Surefire. But I mean, they had us with the little sub X's. So I was like, that's not going to be enough, guys. I know. Also, to that point, I took it upon myself to train almost every single day, all things handcuffed. I mean, all the above. I wanted to be the best officer that I could be at that time, right? And I was training way more on my firearm than most guys combined. SWAT commanders were like, hey, you are a great shooter, probably better than 90% of this department. Nobody takes it upon themselves to do research, to take the training, to do training. And I feel like I was doing that pretty well. So when you see me talking about Olight, I have experiences in that because of those stories. But could we move on from Olight? I don't have affiliate. I don't get paid by them. That would, so I'm telling you the truth. I don't have. I have an affiliate with Safe Flight Defense. Now for them, it saved those belts saved my life for sure. All day. I talk about it in a video that I made 2 years ago, why I switched to Safe Life belts. So I do have an affiliate with Safe Flight. Safe Life. Sorry.
So I think what Vintage is getting at, though, is not necessarily just with the Olight stuff, but I think that we've seen other really low quality stuff. I think Reno May was just talking. I don't know if you saw that from him, but it was on your bore sighter video. That was this $50 laser bore sighter, which is kind of like a meme semi garbage product, right? And that when you watch this content, even if you think you're being honest about it, the average person watching this content, for me, if I'm just watching that, I'm like, what is this guy talking about? I haven't used or seen a laser bore sighter in a decade at this point, right? And that's basically the entire time I've been shooting. So it appeals I feel like that sort of thing appeals to very low information shooters or people who don't shoot very often. And so it's kind of even if it's not particularly expensive, it just seems like it's skimming money off the top, basically. Because if you look on AliExpress and some of these places, you can get laser bore sighters for $3, right? And then somebody markets it, brings it in, puts it in nice packaging, and then suddenly it's $49.99. And it's basically all margin at that point. And so when we see people pushing products like that, or even just talking, even if you're being honest with your experience, talking about them, I think it's a net negative for the community. Stuff like that. I mean, there's a couple videos like that. Like there's sometimes it's also, and I don't want to be the tone police, right? Because I come off as an asshole to a lot of people. So I'm not the tone police person, but sometimes when you're reviewing even what I would consider to be a very mediocre product, you come off as positive about it. And now some people are like that. Like I think a famous example.
Yeah, I mean,
Suits.
Can I? Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're cutting it out. So if it feels like I'm interrupting, it's breaking for me. So I think
I can hear it. I can hear it too, to be honest.
But so I'm sorry if I'm like interrupting. I'm not trying to. Yeah, I mean, so with the Boresighter, I mean, they sent me the product, they pay me, and it worked for me. So like in my experience, right, that worked. Now, is it my job to like really, I mean, I don't know, take hold of the gunning community?
Yes, at 2.6 million subscribers. Well, yes, it is.
I question too is going to be do you feel like personally when you make a review that you have a responsibility to your audience to push good products, or just to be, you know, as honest as possible? Like, I'm curious as to like what your review philosophy.
I mean, to be honest, like I don't get very many views for my long form, and I mean, we can talk about content and like long form and stuff now, but like I'm changing right now. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying that isn't something I do want to talk about. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, my views get like 10K per month on long form. That doesn't mean I'm not going to be honest about it, right? That's why I don't make long form videos all the time. But when I do say that, hey, disclaimer, I was sent this product. I was not paid for it, right? I will come out with a stop box video saying, hey, I use stop box. They did pay me. It is sponsored. So stuff like that. But, you know, I don't feel it's cutting out. It's probably my internet.
Bro, his internet's acting like the
my
Germans
goal
are
is to
over.
be.
We're good. Go ahead. We can hear you now.
You know, I guess my hope is that like I said, I'm only a year into this like gun review space, and I'm still like learning kind of the ins and outs of like what people do, how reviews happen, etc. Right. So I'm still trying to learn how to do that. Have I made mistakes? Yes. And I guess that's just me trying to learn and try to make better content from those mistakes. So, you know, stuff like this, like the last 15 minutes of this conversation has really helped. And it does make sense. Like I would understand where someone would come from if they're in this space for so long. You get this guy talking about product A, B, and C, and go get this. You have my discount code. Now, like I understand how that's cringe and in Vintage Warfare's words, gay. Like I understand how that would make sense. But like,
yeah, so that's actually a good point, because I actually look back and yeah, you've only been doing like gun content for just at 2 years. I mean, you put out like 2 videos 2 years ago, and then you really started about a year ago, or
right.
18 months or something like that.
Right.
So
well, that's kind of what.
And to be clear, I made a lot of bad videos in my first 2-3 years of gun
We all have. We all have. I promise. You've made a video. Every content creator has made a video that they regret. My first video ever was me trying to take apart a Luger drunk. I couldn't figure it out, and I was so pissed at the video that I just stopped. I was like, fuck. And I looked at it. In hindsight, the content creation is something you can learn, but the practices and how what is seen is cool by the community, which shifts a lot, to be real. You know, that's something you learn over time. To be frank with you, Johnny, you remind me a lot of my friends who are not content creators, but they never left behind my government experience dictates my personality and what I think about certain things, if that makes any kind of sense. And that is not a diss. It really isn't a diss, you know? It really isn't, because I get it. You know, it's really not meant to be a diss. But that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like more of a cop version of kind of like Black Rifle Coffee, you know, a little bit, but with like,
sure.
You know,
I mean,
gun reviews. And that's not meant to be like a diss. It really isn't.
I understand where you're coming from, but like I said before, I'm a normal dude. I like guns. I like gear. I want to make videos about guns and gear. Now, I understand where you guys are coming from. You're saying, Johnny, you could make better in-depth, more specced out, like you need to know what you're talking about videos. Like I get that.
Well, I would take just a slight bit off that as well. So when you get paid to do videos like on like kind of, let's say, even just being as charitable as possible, like mediocre products.
Okay, so what can we talk about? Like, what are those mediocre products that you guys?
So let's talk about the Boar Cider, because you mentioned that you did get paid for that review.
Hey guys, hey, real quick, boys, gotta go take a piss. I really gotta pee. Just look at my wall, and you figure out what that means. I really gotta pee though. Ow! Oh!
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, damn it, I lost my train of thought. So with the Boar Cider, like getting paid for that and pushing, you know, a suboptimal product, let's say, right? For some people, like especially nowadays that everybody's like pretty in tune with this sort of, they're going to see that and be like, this guy's a liar. He's a shill, kill, 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 kill. Even if that's not your intention with the video, I think that people, like, as you can tell, people make fun of your content, right? It just happens.
Yeah.
You know, so
Right.
I don't necessarily know if that bothers you or whatnot, but I think that is a perception that you have built over the last year and a half, 2 years ago. And which is probably what's negatively affecting your long form content, is because maybe you don't have that level of trust built up with your audience. Because if I'm looking at your review on, let's say, that Springfield M16A2 clone or A4 clone, whatever that one happened to be, but then I see all in the shorts bar on the right hand side, like all these really silly products, it almost like taints the picture, taints your brand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like I totally understand where you're coming from, and I can totally see that. And here's kind of how I think about my channel and what I do. You know, I think about the Johnny Q channel. If you go back 6 years ago, like this is what Johnny Q is doing, right? And I was doing music, photography, traveling around the world, playing music, producing, some vlogging stuff, getting into video world, and then spin art, cop, and now this. So my entire channel, to me, is how I see it is, you know, more like a marketing agency. Where, you know, that's kind of how I started to look at it about a year ago. And like, I'm not a Grand Thumb. I'm not like these big heavy hitters that can just like go into it and be like, this is what you need. But I understand where you're coming from about, you know, the Boar Cider specifically, because we're talking about the Boar Cider. But like, I went to the range
that you put out on your channel, right?
What's that?
It's a paid video that you put out on your channel.
Yeah, exactly. And I went out and used it, and I said, hey, if it works for me, we can talk about this. They sent it out. I used it. It works. So like, I don't really know what to say other than that. Like, hey, I do get paid for the stuff that does work. You know, I have said no to sponsorships and said, no, I don't want to work with you because I use the product and it's not going to work, or it doesn't work for me. Right. So, can I show a gun on here or no?
No, actually, you're not supposed to. You can show guns, but you can't touch them. Like, so I can't. This is I don't even know what rifle this is.
Got it.
Yeah, so I can't touch it. It can be there, but I can't touch it. But
So,
is there an example you want to go over?
yeah. So there's a Glock 19X right here, and I have the Infotech thermal optic.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay.
You know, that right now has over 1 million. What's that?
What's funny is I can go onto your YouTube channel right now, show that, but I can't actually show it. Is it a video or a short on your channel?
No, it was a short. It wasn't a long form video.
I can show it on the. So I can show, like, this is the one that you're talking about where it's a pistol.
That's the one. I think one of three, I believe. But I mean, yeah. So that right there was not paid. They did send it out. They're like, "Do you want to get paid, or like, do you want to get a contract going?" And I said, "Well, let's just wait to see what this is like, right? To see what we could do with it." Now, is this gimmicky? Probably. I mean, I don't really know. Like, I've not used this in CQB. I've not used it in high risk situations. Like, I don't know, but it's pretty cool because I like thermal. I like the heat signature aspect of it. Like, I think it's pretty cool. And it's in like that small of a package. So will I make a video with it? Probably make a couple more shorts. Will I make a long form with it? I don't really know because I don't know how to properly market that product and how to really talk about it unless I start doing some research.
Well,
So that's kind of where I'm shifting my focus.
Then why? I mean, yeah. Then why would you accept like an offer? So maybe this is an anecdote, right? But me personally, and this isn't like a holier than thou thing. I have companies hit me up via email all the time. If there's a product that I don't know how to, first of all, if I don't like it personally, and I don't know how to market it, then I don't make videos on it. Like that's where I'm at with it. I think the last product, and just to give clarity, the last product I think I've ever shilled, and the only thing I have coming up is a World of Tanks sponsorship. And that's because I play that game. The last thing was an STG 44 in 22 LR, right? And I told them off rip when they sent it to me, hey, the only reason I'm going to accept this is because I think reenactors would enjoy this, not because it's a great gun. I think it's a fun plink kind of thing. But I've had optics companies, laser companies, I've had Chinese companies send me very long and explicit emails about what I will and will not do. You know what you do? You send them the Tiananmen Square copy pasta, and you never look back. You don't talk to them, right? Because if you don't know how something works, you don't know how to review it, it's always going to look bad, because there's going to be people who have time behind that product that they've personally, have experience with, and maybe that's their anecdotes, but it doesn't look good. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's
sure,
especially if it has a bad track record.
Sure. I mean, okay, like that again, that is your opinion, and I've told you at the start of this, like, hey, I like gear, I like guns, I'm gonna make videos on it, and yeah, as I grow, I will learn how to make hopefully better videos for you that you might like or not call gay. I don't know, but like again, that's just my journey into this. I'm not this. I didn't come in. I've never said I'm the guy. I'm the tactical dude. I'm the dude that like goes in it deep. Like you should, that's not my personality.
Can I kind of explain? Like I get what you're trying to say, but this is why you're like not wrong. But this is something I think genuinely you don't understand. You are a person with 2.6 million, almost 7, right, million subscribers.
Sure,
that is a place of authority. Whether or not you want it to be, it doesn't matter. You are somebody who does use your prior experience a lot on your channel. And sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying you do it in all your videos, but that is a reason people will listen to you, right? 2.7 million people, brother, that's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. That's a lot of people, by the way, out of that number who are going to take your advice seriously. That's kind of the thing I don't think you really grasp the gravity of, is just how many people could get a notification from you. And to your credit, that's a big thing to do. 2.7 million, that's crazy, right? But that does place a responsibility on you to be giving advice in the most genuine and just, you have to know what you're talking about at that point. You know what I'm saying?
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I do understand what you're saying. Yeah. So like I've said before, that's where I'm currently trying to be a better content creator, right? So I don't know how else to put it, but that, now for me, like using the bore sighter, it's worked a handful of times. Like it has worked for me. So am I the evilest person in the world for pushing a product like that? If you want to say yes, then sure. But like, I don't
think anyone is saying that, but I think that there is now a time where people are getting more fed up with a lot of like the quote, what we consider to be bad content. And this is something that I did want to actually get into with you because I am curious about this. So your channel has 1.4 billion views with a B, 1.4 billion, absolutely insane. Your shorts content performs really well. And so that translates to a lot of subscribers. but your long form, like more traditional, let's say, videos just don't get the views. So how do you think about that? Like, do you think that it's people are there for the short-term content, or they just don't enjoy your long-form content? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things, but I do think that people may not enjoy my long form, and that's fine. I am more YouTube short oriented, more shorts content related. So that's kind of where I put all my time and energy, and that's just worked for me because now YouTube is up their YouTube shorts to 3 minutes long.
Yes.
And they want to take away time from TikTok, and like that's where my brain goes and like, oh man, YouTube is spending so. Side note, the creator economy, right, is going to boom in the next 3 years. So like anybody can do this. So here's what I say: if you're pissed about the way Johnny Q is doing it, go make a channel, do it yourself, be the top tier guy, have all the right things and get paid for it, because anybody can do this. So if you're mad about Johnny Q, I'm sorry that you're mad. Go do it yourself and get paid for it, right? So like if you're looking at Johnny Q, like I hope you've emailed Grand Thumb and all these other big dudes the same thing, like, hey, we want to get on a podcast and duke it out because we don't like some of the stuff that you do. Or maybe you haven't, because Grand Thumb is like the god of I don't know, of all the gear, right? So that's kind of where I'm like,
I have talked to Grand Thumb personally, publicly, several times about even what's gone on recently. So no, I am willing to call out anyone for any reason.
Yeah, no, that like, has he gone on the podcast? Maybe he has. Like I don't know the channel well enough. So
he won't come on this podcast. No, because we would. I respect you for coming on here.
Yeah, straight. I mean, on some real levels, yes. To be honest, I honestly thought you were going to see that behind me, and you're going to rage quit. But you're made of stronger stuff. But I will
honestly,
say this,
I don't know
Johnny.
What that means. I don't know what that means.
You want me to fucking? I'll show you in a minute.
No, I got
because you do have me enthralled, as we say, in
that's kind of
enthralled by a point you were saying about long form content, because I think you have it wrong. And this isn't, again, I'm not just here to shit on you, Johnny. There are things I wanted to tell you on this, because I don't want you to be somebody that people make fun of in my fucking DMs. And I don't want that. Okay. There are aspects to long form content, because like you, I was a short form creator when I started out, although I started out doing military surplus stuff, right? So not modern day tactical stuff, not anything like that. I mean, I did talk about military arms, that are comparable, but when it comes to long form content, I can upload, and this is not a diss, I can upload from my McDonald's supply closet on their Wi-Fi talking about Yakubian space magic and still break 1,000 views or 1,000 likes on a 9,000 view video. Okay. There are videos that the YouTube algorithm will promote that, let's just say you get to 100,000 views, right? You have to be likable. You have to be somebody doing something other than just what others are doing. There are some, and I will give you credit for this. I've watched, I think, one pistol video, and I think you do this better than rifle videos. You are able to review pistols a lot better than you were able to review rifles. Point blank, period. That's my thought. It's not all negative, but you're doing it in a way that's not memorable. It's the same thing with Civilian Tactical, right? He does long form content. He's asked me, hey, what do I do differently? Well, you're trying to do reaction videos. But the problem is the algorithm is different for longs than it is shorts. And if nobody gives a shit about who you are, people aren't going to look for you. It is what it is. I do some of the edgier stuff. And that's why sometimes certain videos you'll see I could even post it on YouTube, or not YouTube, in my Instagram. Every algorithmic and let's just say checkbox has been met from videos that I do are at 100,000 versus 10,000. I still get the engagement. The reason is people, you're very broad, and if I were to give it a term, you are fake pleasant. You know, like very like, you know, just very, just not like you're not personable in your videos. It's very just kind of like, people think that you are AI. To be honest, I've had people tell me straight up, they're like, I think Johnny Q's AI fed shit, and I'm like, no, I don't think that.
Sure.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's fake pleasant. There's no real personality there. It's like if Chase Bank made a gun tube channel. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's nothing there that draws you in. In fact, one of the things that CivTac fucking, you know, when we talked, I said, get more old guns on your channel and really start like feel some passion behind it, and don't do this like rage bait engagement farming stuff. And by the way, he's done that. That's why I haven't gone after him, because he actually took advice and he's doing better. I'm not here to just shit on people, is kind of my point here. There are certain things, I think, your ASMR content that you could just do a little differently. It wouldn't be as on the nose gay, as I say. You know what I'm talking? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You are telling me your opinion, and I'm listening to your opinion. And yes, that is your opinion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, but you have 2.7 million subs, and I see your long form versus my long form engagement wise.
Comparison is the thief of joy. Like, I don't like. Here's what I'm saying.
That was a thing Admin told me in the podcast. Thank you. Yes.
Here is my thought on my long form. I'm trying to find my way in long form, right?
Okay.
I think I do pretty okay in the shorts. That's where I've gained the most of my subscribers, the shorts. And so because of that, and now YouTube changing its algorithm and its whole mindset on YouTube Shorts, that further tells me that I'm going to double down on YouTube Shorts. And I think people should too. Now, the long-term plan would be to do long-form content. Again, still trying to find my voice in that, because I was doing long-form for a long time. Nobody watched. Like, it was, if I got 1,000 views in like a month, I'd be ecstatic, right? And right now, since I've been doing 2 long-form videos per week for the last 2 months or so, I think I missed one last week. It's been going a lot better. So that tells me I went from 1,000 views a month to 10,000 views a month, just doing simple, strategic, and intentional things. That further tells me, hey, keep doing this, and it will continue to do well. Now, I don't know what your content's about. Apparently, it's just shitting on Johnny Q. I know
it's not. I can tell you did as much research on me as you accused me of not doing on you.
I didn't really do any research on you. That is true. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm doubling down on shorts, and I found a way to monetize it, and I found a way to like make it a thing. And I think a lot of people can do it too. Like, you could do it, you know? Now you're saying that I'm not personable, but you shit on so many creators. Like, if that's your thing, cool. But I don't think a lot of companies.
Which creators do I shit on? Can you actually tell me what creators I've shat on?
So Civilian Tacticals only sent me his videos about him. So that's all so me and him. So 2, right?
So you don't know. I can apply it. You tried to do this earlier on in this stream about me not knowing the last time I knew you, or knew when you talked about an Olight product.
Well,
but you don't know what content creators I've gone after for what reason. So that's a very good way. It's disingenuous, man. It is.
But it's true though, right? Like, you go after
what's true. What is true?
It's what you said your content is. So I can extrapolate that's what you do.
That's not all the content that I do.
What I'm saying,
and the people I go after, it's for a reason.
What I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, I don't think a lot of brands want to be aligned with that sort of content.
I don't give a fuck about brands. That's the problem. You're thinking about brands and how much money you get.
That's fine. That's the fucking that's problem. Not true. But that's not what I'm saying.
What you just said is like, I only care about what brands are gonna think. Legitimately,
that's not what I said. I did not say it. I said brands wouldn't align with your sort of content, where they might see my content and be like, hey, let's reach out to Johnny Q. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not saying that you're doing it wrong or right. Like, you just told me for the last 10 minutes that I'm doing everything wrong, right? And then I'm not personable and I'm AI fed. Like that.
No, I
that's
said that people
hilarious.
told me that that's what you were. I
That's
said
freaking-
even in this, your chat, go ahead and clip it. Go back when I said that wasn't true. But go continue.
Yes, I know what you're. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Because
I
I know
man.
you're not a Fed. And that's not what you're fixated about sponsors. That has been the beef. I guess beef, not really beef, but beef. But you do silly shit too.
Sure, but like I don't see that's not your like you don't want to do that. I would like to get sent optics and guns and gear. Like that's cool to me. And now I'm finally at a point where that's happening, and I'm saying other people can do it too. So if people are criticizing Johnny Q, great. This is America. Do it. Make videos on it all day long. Thank you. But then go do it yourself.
This is something that you have said a couple times about like going and doing it yourself. The problem is that, you know, borderline, it's not that you are doing it that's the problem necessarily. It's the way that you go about it, perhaps. And I think you've talked about this a couple times about how you view your channel as sort of marketing, right? Am I correct in that before I move on? Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
so like, when I hear that, my mind does not go to I'm getting an honest review of a product. This is just the marketing wing for some company that sent this guy a product, which I've criticized a lot of YouTubers for, is that they are essentially either paid or unpaid shills. Like I've had people say absolutely nutty things about, you know, all sorts of different handguns and whatnot that they got for free. And they're like, oh, it's supposed to do this. You know, it's supposed to be bad. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? Are you working in their marketing department? And so I do believe that, like you're saying, people criticizing you for doing it can do it as well. But I think that, like, for me, I don't want to do that. So it's not that we can't do it, but I think it's that, like, for me, it's that I think that I hold myself, well, I don't want to say I'm the perfect person for all of this, but I try to hold myself to a standard that puts my viewers first, because I could absolutely make more money. You know, I could accept more product. I could be a little nicer, and I would, you know, I would make companies much happier with me. I wouldn't get threatened quite so often. All sorts of silly little things that I could do. But I want to hold myself to a high standard and be accountable to my viewers, who is building up this community. Like even on I got 60K subs, and I can make basically a living off of, you know, doing random stuff like this, right? Because people show up and they support the content because they've created that sort of relationship with me. So
yeah, no, definitely.
When I hear the marketing mentality, that for me, that's a turnoff when I hear that sort of thing. I'm just giving you my perspective.
Right. So I think it might be a turnoff to you. And again, I think we're it's conversing here. Like I don't think we're beefing at this point, but I think it's cool to talk about like the behind the scenes YouTube stuff. But I think to other creators, it looks like that, right? You know, like I think to other creators, it definitely does. Like I don't want to align myself like whatever he's doing. I want to be more of an organic, purist YouTuber. Like I totally get that, right? And so a lot of people in my comment section when I was a cop were like, he's just becoming a cop for the views. And I'm like, well, that's just not true. Like if you really did know me and like what I was doing, like I'll tell you I was making content when I was a cop. If you want to hear that, like I'll tell you why. But for the most part, like I don't know. Like I said, I found a way. Actually, here's an example. So 3 years ago, I was shopping around for a holster, for an everyday carry holster. I came across Tolster holsters. I reached out via IG and I was like, hey, would you guys send me this product so I could check it out and try it out? Sure. So it took 3 years of me using the product, right? And I'm just now getting paid not even 3 months ago. So I was like, hey, would you guys want to align and like do something together and do some paid spots? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. But I've used that holster for like the last 2.5, 3 years, where I can say I've used this in so many scenarios, right, in my life. So like I feel like people make a lot of assumptions without knowing what I'm doing, what Johnny Q is, or like what I'm about. So
I think you just told us what.
Well, so that was the thing. So like something there that you said, like you had to put in the work with a company to where they would pay you.
Right, but that was not my intention. I was not trying to get paid from the beginning.
Yeah. 'Cause the way that sentence was structured was like, I got this product for free and then worked for 3 years.
Sorry.
And then eventually
So
paid.
yeah, let me,
In my mind, like being
I worked
Sorry,
really
let me back
hard to
up.
get these sponsors
before people
liberal.
start making
That's what
assumptions.
yeah.
Sorry, before I start making assumptions, like my goal was not to be like, I never thought I was going to do this full time. Like that just wasn't in the cards. I was like, I will never be able to do it. I was like, hey, can I get a free holster? Because I don't have money to buy a holster right now, but I'll put it on the channel and it might be cool because I was doing guns at the time. My goal was not to get paid by them ever. I had not brought up any kind of payment up until 3 months ago. So, and if you want to, you can talk to Noah at Holster Holsters and he'll tell you. So,
Oh no, I'm not calling you a liar. It was just the way that you had said that, like in my mind was firing off.
gotcha.
warnings.
Sorry,
Like,
I was not trying to get paid, and that goes with like.
Well, and I think-
anything, really.
You seem excited about it, though.
Well, it is exciting to get paid. I do agree with that. But I think that a lot of YouTubers
I like gear.
do.
Why is it not exciting to get cool gear? I mean,
this is
and
the
you
thing, right? It is cool, but for me, it's the responsibility that I have to my my viewers, right? Because like without the viewers, I'm just some random guy screaming into a void. So for me, I don't want to, I don't want to sell out to my audience and start shilling stuff just because it's, gear is cool and I want to maintain gear and I want to maintain, else that I'm doing at the time. But yeah, and I think to your point, a lot of YouTubers start that way where they product for free, really simple, and then later on down the road, then the offers start coming in after they've built an audience. So they start off like relatively honest and relatively altruistic, and then essentially turn into like this week's. Happens to a lot of people.
sure. I mean, and like you said, you don't want to do that, and that's respectable too. So I'm not. If that's what you want to do, like that's what you've chosen to do, and that's cool too. So, I see other YouTubers also push products, and I just don't think anything of it. And if anything, I'm like, cool. What does this person have to say about this specific piece of gear? So,
Well,
yeah,
but,
I think both of you do not like. What's that?
Oh well, it's even in the way you phrase that. Like when you see other YouTuber push gear. So like I try not to watch anyone who pushes gear. So like somebody might talk about something positively, but it's because the pros of that product like overwhelmingly outweigh the cons of that product, right? Like when I watch, I'm just gonna name Jimbo's content and it's only positive content. I'm like, there's got to be something in there that's wrong with the product, surely. Right?
I mean,
Johnny, would you admit, like, this is just one kind of key point that I would want to go over. Would you admit that if a company sent you a product, if being disparaging towards that product were to hurt your relationship with them, do you admit that that's like a thing? If you were to be honest and objective in a review, whether or not that would hurt your kind of reputation with that company, even if the product was actually whack, it wasn't just like you going after them.
Like me specifically, or in general?
Well, just anybody, right? Because I think that applies to everyone. So let's just say company A sends me product A, and I it's objectively bad. Are you somebody who would post a video saying how bad that product is?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would. I'm saying I think I would, depending on what the product would be, right?
So you're telling me that the relationship between you and that company would not
like when I
influence
first
video.
When I first got an Olight. Say that one more time. I cut out.
You're good. So
sorry, can you say that again?
The product was bad. Can you still hear me? Yes.
Yes. Good? Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. If the product they sent you was bad, okay, would you actually post a video about that specific product being bad? I'm not saying shit on the company. I'm saying they sent you a product, it did not perform, send it back, give me another one, I'll make another video. Is that something that you would do?
I mean, I wouldn't post the video. I think I'd talk to the brand first, the company or whoever the talk point person, and tell
Okay.
them, hey, this isn't running. Could we either fix it or get a new one and then go from there? And then I would probably, the video that I would make, say, hey, the first one didn't work out. Here's another one. So, I mean,
All right,
for example,
so
like,
follow up though, you would put that in that video though. You would disclose that one didn't work.
I mean, I did in the O-site video, I did mention a lot of creators got a batch just that didn't work and their O-sites just were not working. But like mine was working for some weird reason, which sucks because it makes it even worse. You know?
But didn't you just say that product was good, but you just are now telling me that it was, oh, well, there was a bunch of them that didn't work. Like which is it?
I don't understand I don't understand your infatuation with like trying to get me. Like the first
I'm not
iPhone
trying to, dude, it's not me trying to
the
get
first
you.
iPhone
It's what you
was
said.
bad. The first iPhone was bad. This one's better. Can I not say like
okay?
That's the kind of,
but
so,
one's an iPhone, one is a matter of life and death. Like what? There's a difference. It's not just a product.
I was not handed 100 O sites. I was handed one that actually worked.
Fair.
I saw 5 different videos. I saw 5 different videos on the O site, and I think 2 of them were actually good reviews. Like, hey, it actually worked. It was Such and some other guy who plinks in his backyard. I'm forgetting his name, but then there was like Civilian Tactical said, I'm not making one because mine didn't work. And then Desktop was like, mine never worked. And we talked in person. I'm like, dude, mine literally worked. There was no gimmick. But I do say in that video, I saw other videos where the O site was not working. Let's see if this one works. And I say this one does work for some weird reason. I feel like that's honest. Like the research
it's an honest anecdote. Yeah, for sure. No, I get it.
Also, I think
I wasn't paid for that video either.
Well, I think that specific example is honest, right? Where you talk about, hey, like I've had good experiences with bad products, right? I have. And then in those videos, I'm very clear that like, I think this is a bad product that somehow is just working for me right now. So I don't have a problem with your take on the O site because I had an O site review as well. Mine kind of worked and didn't die for some reason. And so that video was kind of 50-50 on whether or not, my example was fine.
Was the reticle going in and out or no?
No, mine was just, it kind of held 0 but it didn't die. But there was a lot of little things about it I don't like no removable batteries, using a rechargeable system.
Right.
Little things that I don't like about it in that. But going back to the thing that was important was that you said if you had a bad product that not post the video, you would go to the company first. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would. I think, the way I see it is company A reaches out to Johnny Q and they want, like, we have a lot of conversation before we get to the point of them sending me the product, right? So like, I feel like I would have the duty to be like, hey, I'm not going to post this video, but it didn't work. So how do we remedy this? But I will say and talk about it in the next video that we're trying it again, So I don't really know like what else you want. That's my honest answer.
That's your process, right? And so that is some people's process.
That's a business process, by the way.
Right. That is some people's process where I've even had people tell you it's the golden rule. You can't make a bad product. You got to give the company a chance to fix it. Whereas for me, I take it as like, what if the random Joe Schmo bought one with his own hard-earned money, which is what I'm trying to protect in this instance, and his didn't work, right? So I'm showing off product number 2 or maybe sample number 3 that did work, right? But the first one didn't. Maybe the second one was okay. And I've heard people have really positive reviews. But at the end of the video, they're like, oh, by the way, the first one, the firing pin broke on it. And then we had to send it in. And then this went wrong. And then eventually we ended up with a good gun. And I'm like, so like gun number 4 you got was good. And so somehow that makes a pot. Like I wouldn't put up with that with High Point, right?
Sure. I mean, honestly. So like to be honest and candid, if Smith & Wesson sent me 2 pistols this last couple weeks. We made a video on them. We got one more to do. Now, if that pistol just were utter garbage, I'd be like, guys, this is malfunctioning. It's not working. I'd leave it in the video, but I'd be like, hey, person A, B, and C, this is not working. Like, I don't know what's going on. I know Smith & Wesson should be working. I would expect this from a High Point, right? So I don't know. That's just kind of my. I feel like I would have a responsibility.
Would you post a video of that though? Like that's the real
Yeah,
like a short video.
Yeah, no,
would you do a short because that's where you
said
get
this
your
already.
views.
I posted in the video saying, "Hey, yes, yes, I would put that if I got a product that did not work and was not functioning." So, for example, this actually makes it look even worse. But ETS magazines, everybody was crapping on me for using ETS mags because ETS mags are garbage. For some freaking reason, I used those for about 2 months in every single Glock, right? Glock 17, Glock 19. That's all I would shoot for my shorts. They worked, and I have no idea why they worked, but like they were supposed to not work. I saw a bunch of videos, a bunch of reviews. The people I talked to were like, "Hey, everybody craps on us. They say that they don't work, but here you go. Take a whack at it." Every single bullet fed through flawlessly, no malfunctions, like nothing. So I'm like, if I post this, I know I'm going to get a bunch of crap. I know it, and I did. And so like and I would have been like, "Hey, this magazine did not rip through. No idea why. I'm using ETS mags, but hey, if you want to go check them out, here's some more mags, and I'll rip through those, and they would work just fine." But I didn't have that, and so I'm telling you right now, Mr. Austin, if that were to happen, I would put that in the video saying, "Hey, this is the second or third iteration or second time we've worked with this company. They sent out another product because the first one didn't work." And that's what I would say. But I feel like I would have a responsibility to the person who I'm talking to as a business relationship, professionalism. "Hey, your stuff isn't working, and I know it probably should be working. How can we remedy this before in 1 month 10,000 people see this?" Right?
Sure. Yeah. And by the way, I understand that. So as I said earlier, I used to work at an optics manufacturer. I used to be the guy to reach out to people to review an optic. Some of them big names. I'm not like gonna name drop them, but so some of them had the same approach that you did. My main concern was that the product worked and what was going on with it. And routinely I'd be like, "Okay, well, if you post the video, right? At least, if it didn't work, at least mention the fact we're going to send one back. We're looking at what's going on with it, et cetera, et cetera." What I don't see from a lot of people who push certain things is a short video dedicated on how something doesn't work. And at least being objective about it. What I see is people, because how many people bought that product at launch, right? Or how many of them are going to buy out of that batch, which, by the way, that company's got to sell that batch or send it back. It's a lot of money, right? There's not a lot of people who are being objective about it to that degree. But I do understand where you're coming from, right? You're going to, from your end of the spectrum, you're going to try and reach out to that company and be like, "Hey, this is what's going on. I'm not going to post anything yet. Send me another one and I'll get to you." But like we take this Olight O-site example, right? A lot of people had issues,
Do you know what Olight wanted to do with Desktop? Do you know this at all?
I'm not. Well, I mean, if you want to bring that up, sure.
Okay. So with Olight, I did not do that with them because with this other creator, he had said, "Hey, this is not working." Olight said, "Where do you live? We're going to fly out there in the next week and we're going to look at your pistol, your screws, your O-site and see what's going on." And he was like, "No, you're not." And they're like, "No, we are. We're booking a ticket right now. Where's your info?" And you can ask Desktop about this. And he's like, "Yeah, I'm doing it." I did not want to be a part of that. And I was like, "Guys, look, I didn't say that in the video, but I do. That is my reasoning for not doing that." Because Olight is like very crazy in that sense of they want to fix the thing right away because they know it's supposed to work. Right. And on that flip side, like, I don't want to be a part. I don't want them to show up at my house and be like, "Yo, that kept bothering me." Of like,
that is kind of a weird thing to say from a company aspect, for sure.
Yeah, well, so they're Chinese. They have very different customs, and
believe me, I fucking know. I worked at one. Yeah.
So the thing is, that's like you said. I have a following, right? Which I don't. I don't see myself as like that big of a person, but like you said, I do have a following, and I feel like, you know, if company A said or sent me this, I feel like I should talk to them first, but also be genuine in my review. Maybe I just haven't received a lot of crappy products. Like you might think they're crappy, but the actual product itself actually worked. So that's kind of where I'm like, maybe I just received okay pieces of gear, you know?
I think
sometimes there's a positive bias there too, because like you might receive the double QC'd product. You might receive the product that's been, you know, double tested to make sure that it's working at time, right? Because, you know, marketing departments will do this. There are special reviewer only products that they send out, right? That have been tested, double QC'd, all sorts of different stuff going through. And sometimes even for like a pre-release gun, they're a special batch of the products, where as opposed to batch testing for the individual parts, they're all individually QC'd as parts before they're even assembled, right? Like Smith & Wesson and some of these other guys, they have specific lots of firearms that are for their, you know, viewers and stuff. Why? Because if they get a bad early review, that's going to cut into that hype and cut into the sales. So, I mean, you know, it's up to the individual user to be as honest and as impartial as they can be. And I know that that's not always an easy thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I hate that we're on Olight because I don't push Olight all that often.
I'm just talking about
in the start of
real quick, Jonathan, whatever you prefer. How do you want me to address you?
Whatever you like. Johnny is fine.
Jonathan. All right. So Jonathan.
Yeah, that's my name.
I do have a specific thing I do want to talk about in terms of like product review. That got my noggin jogging a little bit. Continue, but next topic I want to talk about that focus.
Yeah, I mean, if we can get rid of Olight, please. Let's like.
Yeah, okay. So
I'm not on affiliates with Olight.
Well, but the different it's different because Olight has a track record of bad performance. What I want to talk about is Springfield, or Springfield Armory, and not because whatever the product was bad. It's just how your video process in reviewing it is kind of what I want to talk about.
Sure.
Is that fair? We continue on that the Olight thing, but I mean, there's other products too.
We can. Like I said, I don't have an affiliate with Olight. They don't pay me to make videos. That's it.
Okay. All right, sweet. So, do you have a relationship with Springfield Armory?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Can you elaborate as to what that relationship is?
Yeah, I mean, Your Honor, as you know, the time has gone by in the last couple of years. I have met them at trade shows. I've met person in marketing, and whenever a new gun comes out and I'm on that list, they do send it out. You know, for example, the Echelon was sent out.
Yep. I saw that
the
review.
M16A2 clone was sent out, and then also the Hellcat Pro Comp was sent out.
Okay.
I was not a part of numerous other campaigns as well.
Sure, absolutely. So, I've said this earlier in the stream. I think you review pistols better than rifles.
I would agree. I would agree. I love rifles, but man, it is hard to make a good rifle video. So I know what you're gonna say, and I probably agree with you. I was not, very much prepared for that review, but like, again, I may be hiding behind the fact of, I like cool gear and I like guns, but yeah, no, there is kind of a thing where if you're gonna review a rifle, which you might use in self-defense, if you're using that, I don't know why you're using it for self-defense, but maybe it's like, zombie apocalypse, that's kind of your last ditch effort. But yeah, I would agree with what you're saying, but also like they wanted Johnny Q to make that video, and that's what my previous videos were like, and they knew that. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's fair enough. By the way, a lot of people who run marketing departments in the gun industry are retarded. But what
this one is not retarded, but okay, that's crazy. But yeah,
whatever. Don't care. Anyway, so what I'm saying is, when you're reviewing a rifle, right? I think you understand what I'm going to say in saying that, hey, a rifle should be reviewed, and we'll probably agree on this, at distance. The magazine feeling a certain way when it enters the gun is not a feature. It just is what it's an M16A2, right? And as much as I thought it was funny when you did the Skittles thing, which now it is kind of a meme, would you agree that because Springfield sent you that rifle to sell it, right? Do you think that video, in your own opinion, do you think that video was worthy of selling to your audience in the way that you presented it, if that makes any sense? From a rifle review standpoint.
The review video, not the Skittle review, right?
No, not the Skittle review.
Okay. Because they love the Skittle video. So that was fantastic.
I'm sure they did.
So again, to answer your question, I'm going to answer it as to that's why I did it, right? Now, could I have gone a little bit more in depth? Yeah, probably. But I like to think of me being the top of the funnel where I'm looking for a gun. I see that gun. Okay, how does it shoot? How does it feel? What's the price? What's it look like? I'm very in the visual aspect side of the gun side, or I like bringing high quality videos to the audience, right? Which that's why I shoot on a DSLR for all my things. And so I want to be, entry level. This is what you get. Cool. I want to learn more. So then you type in the words to learn more, and then you get better content.
Okay. So I want to touch on something you just said, in which case I totally understand. Entry level. Okay. You're talking about an M16A2 clone at entry level, right? And this is where the bigger picture starts to come down. You're somebody who uses your time as a police officer to sell the product. It is what it is. It's why a lot of people followed you, right? You're talking about a rifle feeling good. You do a little this, a little that at a gong 25 yards away. What I would like you to do, honestly, and I challenge you to do this, take it out to 100 yards. Figure out how you're going to shoot at it from further distances to really show the consumer with more than 100 rounds of ammo. You could even see the box of ammo they were using to review it. I can't see the ones that you threw away, but there was some speculation to that. Honestly, what I think, if you wanted to be silly or fun with it, maybe do a little bit more. Hey, you do some BDU, like do an ACH, do some LBV or load bearing vests, right? Do a little bit more of that, because at that point, it's explicitly clear to anybody who's serious that you're just having fun. You know what I'm saying? And that you could bring all that stuff up about how you felt with the rifle, how it felt to shoot, all that stuff. But when you do this body armor, the magazine felt good, and you're shooting at a gong, and I'm supposed to take that as a serious review, that's where people don't take you seriously. When people like you a little bit more, is like, hey, this is a good LARP gun. You know what I'm trying to say?
I definitely see where you're coming from, for sure.
Yeah. And I think you should do more of that, honestly.
The funny thing about that video is, so I had just, I would say, recently moved to the area, and I was trying to find my own range, or trying to find my own private sector. Yeah. And I was in a giant field, a private, acre field, and it was near a highway. So
sure.
The other part was, not being able to shoot it at distance, because I'm not making an excuse, but that's one of the things where I was like, yeah, I can't, there's cars here, there's troopers all over. So, but I do get where you're coming from. And I do that's something I'm definitely going to take to heart and try to make when I make rifle reviews, make them a little bit more, make them better, I think. So I definitely understand where you're coming from, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would agree. I would agree with your assessment.
Sorry, not to cut you off, but I think you'll find it more fun when you do it.
I do find it fun. I mean, I do find it fun, but like I said, going out at 100 yards, I can do easily now, right?
Sure.
Because I have my own setup now. But then it was, yes. So I agree. I agree with you. So I thank you for the candor. That actually is helpful.
Yeah. No, I hope to see you do another repro one of these days, and I hope to see you in a little bit of a uniform or something. Do something fun with it. I think you'd like it.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Hour and 45 minutes in. There's been some super chats coming in, questions, all sorts of silly things. Can we get to those real fast?
Oh yeah, baby! I know it's gonna be nutty.
All right. So Andrew Vachon for $1.99 says, "Got here just in time. Thank you very much." And then Julian for a whopping $20. Julian is always throwing 20s. He says, "So who is gay?"
I will tell you who is gay. It is you, Julian. I am from Ethiopia, and I know that me and all of us here are gay. Okay.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay?
I am making Johnny laugh.
Who says that?
He hates it. I know. Okay. Go ahead. Having fun now.
You are gay. No.
Yeah.
Over 2.5 million.
Barely 10K views per vid. Well, so that's the split. We kind of talked about that, though. That's the split between shorts-focused content and those subscribers. For whatever reason, short subscribers do not translate at all.
I said
Yeah,
it earlier.
so
you have to.
can I
You
talk
need to
about-
make
can I talk
people
about
give a
that
fuck
really
about
quick?
who you are. That's what it is.
Can I
You
talk
need to
about that
make
really
people
quick?
give a fuck.
100%.
Yeah. So I don't think so. Yes, I would agree with you. I wouldn't phrase it like that, but to an extent, yes. So prior to law enforcement, I was doing spin art right through COVID. And I know you love the spin art, Austin. I know you're all about it.
You're my favorite
And
painter.
so-
That's why I wore this helmet.
And so on TikTok, I mean, it blew up and I, gained 3 million followers on TikTok. Since
I
then,
heard
that
you guys
account
sucked.
that account has been deleted. No, they didn't like it. Well, I was going into police work and they offed it, but I had 3 million followers on TikTok. And so
That sucks, man.
those
Yikes.
followers,
Yeah, that is shitty though. That is shitty.
those followers translated to YouTube, and I got 1 million based off of that content, right? And then I switched over to guns. I lost 300K. I was like, that's fine, no big deal. And then I gained another 1 million or so. So that's where now it's about almost 2 million. So 1.7 million.
That is so funny to hear you say I lost 300K subs and it was like whatever. And that's 5 times what my channel is. That's just funny to think about the numbers that way.
Oh, sure. I mean, dude, yeah, I have like philosophy on
That's
videos and shorts.
crazy.
Like at that point, I wasn't making content for how do I say it? Like it wasn't like there wasn't Johnny Q content and then like sponsored content. It was just like Johnny Q's making up whatever he wants. He's gonna answer questions. That's where the good question thing came in. And like when I was doing the police thing in the gun world or went into the gun world, I gained another 1.5 million on just shorts. And so like I was not focused on long form. And so most of my following are, between the ages of 18 and 44 in the last year. And as like I think I would like to get into long form, but I do have a strategy that gets me a little bit away from the gun reviews and more so like on business, social media strategy, helping other creators and or businesses get to their goals. And so that's kind of where I come from. And that's, maybe the side that people don't see. But yeah, I do think that other people do long form video gun reviews a whole lot better. But I do love shooting pistols so much. And I love making those reviews where I do think it is it's harder for me to make rifle reviews because I don't have time behind a rifle as much as I do a pistol, if that makes sense. So I feel like I can speak a lot clearer and a lot more concise and a place from authority with the pistol side versus rifle side. Now there are, I can talk about other things with the rifles that I've done in police work, but like it may not translate to other people, which is why I, hired a videographer. And a lot of the gun tubers that I see have someone else filming them. And to me, that looks really cool.
It does. It looks 100 times better when you have somebody else filming you.
Right. It adds a whole nother level of like, oh, that actually seems pretty cool. So I'm trying to start doing that. I guess, my marketing degree has kind of got me to this point of like making I call it the three. We probably don't have to talk about this, but like the 3 E's, right? That's what I call it. Engaging, educational, and entertaining. Like those are for shorts, like those are my 3 pillars. So sorry, that was a long when did it answer to whatever we had just started talking about.
Yeah, that was the difference between like subs and views
Yes,
on long.
yes. So that's where I got my subs. Like the 2 million, the million first came from spin art, and then the 1.5 million plus are now from, you know, the cop to like the what I do now. So, which I guess Austin would say the Gunslop content.
Well, so here's the thing, Jonathan. When it comes to like, I think that you've experienced such drastic changes in your follower count on multiple platforms. Like TikTok is a very easy platform for somebody to get big on. YouTube is very different in its algorithm. I actually argue that Instagram might be the best direct to follower platform, just because of people immediately seeing what you're doing. But because it kind of forces people to see what you're doing. But all of that aside, yeah, like I get it. Like the spin art thing, you know, I like to make jokes about it. To be honest, I don't know why you didn't just stick with that, because I feel like Crayola would have sponsored you or something. I don't know who makes paint.
Oh, we
company.
we can talk about the
paint.
spin art era. It's it was it was crazy good.
I don't even know what it's like being like spin art famous. That's crazy. Although the 300,000 sub drop you said you had is predictable. In TikTok, that's why I don't really upload on TikTok. I think it's insane. Yeah, man. You know what? Here's kind of my closing thoughts on this whole thing.
We're finishing.
I really gotta take a piss again. Unless you want to wait for me to take a piss again.
I'm here. I'm here. Let's do it.
I think there are certain things that you could do that would improve your channel. As I said, I upload from here. Okay, here. I have looked at your most successful videos in the long form. I've looked at your regular ones in the long form, and I know that you put a lot of money forth to make them good, or at least look aesthetically appeasing, right? But yet, you know, the likes, the comments, they're not there. And that's not a diss, but it is what it is. Yet I can upload in here again, talk about Yakubian space magic, my Lord and Savior. Well, I know he's not my Lord and Savior, but that guy right there, I can talk about him for however long, and it would get above 1,000 likes. I think what you need to do, do a little bit more at distance shooting with rifles. And I understand cops aren't really trained to do long rifle or long gun stuff off rip. It's very pistol focused, and again, that shows in your pistol reviews. But ultimately, I think you just need to gain a little bit more of a personality. You need something that sets you apart. You know, because there's a ton of people, right, who do gun content on this platform. It's almost oversaturated at this point. Maybe you would agree with that, but it's kind of oversaturated now with people who want to be gun tubers, right? And yeah, I think if you just learned a couple of fundamentals and not, maybe you know them, okay, but just film more of it now that you have the setup that you just talked about, it'll benefit you. And maybe, I don't know, be objective in a product review here and there, and people won't, think that you're shilling, so to speak. I believe in you.
Was quite the speech there.
yeah.
Thanks.
Go take a piss.
All right, moving on. Whipped Flame for $4.99. Thank you very much, sir. He says, cheers for the stream. Olight is in fact gay. The big gay, some would say the biggest. People tell me they often do. Biggest Dickus for $10 says, Johnny hasn't bought a used or historic gun in his life. He means life. He buys Trump 1911s and a new slop gun from Sig, Taurus, Kimber, etc. His gun wall looks like the entire 2024 Cabela's catalog. Well, I would actually like to have the entire 2024 Cabela's catalog. So,
Johnny, can I ask you a question? What's with the gay sex club lights in your gun room?
Oh, everybody has sexual lighting in their.
I like them. I mean, I like the lighting, dude. So.
Yeah, no worries.
It's just I don't know
you
when
you do have art glasses.
Huh?
You do have art glasses on.
Oh, these are my woman's. I'm just using these for fun.
Yeah. Gotcha.
These aren't mine. I couldn't find the pit vipers.
So the light setup is always changing. I mean, I don't know what you probably didn't see, but I just changed gun rooms. It's not even a gun room. I just have a little bit of guns, not a lot of guns, but
Wait, hold that thought, Johnny. I gotta pee. Or keep talking. I don't care.
Yeah, go. Yeah, you're fine, dude.
Austin has a women's bladder. He'll be right back. Eggnog for $4.99 says, "Why should I care? This is on par with asking Civ Tactical why he is the way that he is." Well, that's kind of interesting because I think it was Austin and somebody else talked to Civ Tac about content and how to get better and stuff like that. So, I mean, Civ Tac wanted to improve his content and improve his standards. If that makes sense. So, I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, Johnny.
Yeah, I think Austin. I don't know if he has good intentions, but I think he's trying to have this higher, superior brand. But I think he does have good thoughts. He just doesn't know how to say those thoughts. But like, I'm not. What he's saying, I'm taking to. Like, I'm not someone who's like, oh, I know everything, because I don't. And I mean, yeah, he does have some points, and it makes sense. And I think I'm gonna apply some of those things to the content in the future here.
Yeah. Now, when I asked, because I think Richard reached out to you originally to get on here, because I know that you and Austin had gone back and forth. I figured it was going to end up, pretty angsty for a few minutes, but then after a while, you're just going to talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what going back and forth means. What is that?
Well, I mean, like, just putting your own point of views forward and back. So, like, in the first 7 or 8 minutes, it was pretty like more heated, I would say, but now it's more just like talking about your different viewpoints.
Yeah, I want to get that out of the way.
Yeah, for sure. Nick for $2 says it's a flashlight. If I remember correctly, that is in reference to Guardian conversation hours ago at this point. But thank you, Nick, for the $2. John Smith for $1.99 says Detroit PD banned Olight after one exploded. Lol.
It's so funny. Like, again, not going back to the Olight thing, but Sig,
never get off of it.
Sig did the same thing, and we still use Sig. Officers still use Sig. I carry a Sig. I carry sometimes the next macro, and every single time I carry that appendix, I think, is my dick gonna get blown off today? And that's just I said that in my videos too.
As long as you're off of 320, I think. But yeah, the 320
right.
Getting
it's just it's funny how we can correlate Olight with exploding, but then Sig also multiple times exploding and or firing in cops' holsters, which is wild. Like, that's just crazy.
Well, like if you go to my Discord server, we have a page called Sig Sour, SOUR.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I like Sig Optics. Their guns, I'm not as big. Andrew Fashawn for $4.99 says they send me the product, they pay me. Are you kidding me? I knew he was a shill, but he just came out and said it. I believe that's in reference to Insider video where you said that they did like that is a paid video, right?
Sorry, so what video again?
The Boresight video, right? Where that's like a paid video.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, you cut out, but yeah, I mean, I don't understand how this is like I get what you guys are saying. Don't get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from. It's just surprising to me how people are like, Johnny is getting paid. I mean, like, yeah. And even sometimes I don't get paid. Like, this thermal optic company is not paying me. I understand. It's like
people have just instantaneously, no matter what, you're never going to be able to get away from it. Once you tell people that you get paid, it's just like it's going to happen. You know, people are going to
sure.
instantly take that and be like, this is a problem. Even if you do your job perfectly, they're still going to come after you for the fact
For
that you
sure.
got paid.
Like,
yeah,
you know,
you're gonna have haters no matter. Even if I didn't
Oh,
exist, Johnny,
yeah. Oh, I know. Trust
you
me.
would
I don't.
still have them.
I
You'd
really
still
don't
have
care.
them.
I have many haters, and yes, for sure. You know, I told PSA I don't want an affiliate program with you guys. They still were like, hey, we'll set you with one up. I was like, fine, I'll do the Avant link, but I don't push the Avant link with PSA because I like what they have, and I do say that. You know, the only affiliate that I do have would be Safe Life, and that's about it. So, yeah.
Can I ask you what the difference is between a relationship with a company? This isn't a gotcha. I really want to understand the difference to you. What is the difference between a affiliate and somebody who sends you product and you make a video and you guys have a back and forth about it? Well, what's the difference there, if I can ask?
Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking like relationship versus.
Well, yeah. Like when you
Or-
say affiliated, I think that word is very broad. What is the difference between being an affiliate and a somebody who just simply has a relationship with a company? You know, I'm sure you understand what I'm trying to get at.
Sure. I'm trying to understand it. So, for example, Safe Life Defense, I have an affiliate with them. I get residuals every single month, but I think the last time I made a Safe Life Defense video was 2 months ago on the body armor when I shot the iPad. And I don't really talk to them anymore. It's just like, hey, Johnny Q's on the roster. Cool. They don't send me stuff. Sometimes we email back and forth, but like that's about it. And you know, it's on the docket right now to make a belt video again on the Safe Life Defense belt because I used to use it all the time as a patrol officer. My entire department was like, hey, that's a great belt. We're gonna move to it. Because they were wearing it, like a couple of people were testing it, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna wear this because it's the thing to do after last night, guys. I don't care if you write me up, but I'm gonna wear this freaking belt. And so I was like, hey, Safe Life, can we get something from my department? Can we get a code? They're like, that'd be perfect. Also, do you want to put this on, your YouTube channel, get your audience going? So that's kind of how it started, right? So where Springfield Armory, my relationship with the marketing people over there is like, hey, do you want to be on this drop? Sure. Yeah, why not? We talk at trade shows, stuff like that, but we don't like communicate every single week. So, and I'm sure you already knew that, but I think you wanted to know my side of.
I want to hear your take on it. Yeah.
I mean, that's my take.
I'm not saying it's unreasonable. I'm just, wanted to know what you thought.
Yeah,
I don't know. There's not much more I could say about it. Honestly, the truth is a little bit more in the middle, as is in most things. I will end with this, Johnny, only because I have 8% of battery left. My chick just brought me food, and I'm gonna go chill with her. I genuinely do want to see, take this advice or leave it. Okay, I'm not the arbiter of YouTube content, but I think that you should do a little bit more in depth on your rifle stuff. I think it would, gay army saying, behoove you to do less of the kind of nerf stuff that you do here and there. Just get into the specifics, like in disclose your relationships.
You don't like, so I do disclose.
No. Well, what I'm saying is because I've gone after SIDTAC for the same thing. He does a good job disclosing his relationships now. What I'm saying is, for if you get a rifle again, let's just say as an example, let's just say Springfield sends you a Hellion, right? Do a little bit more to show its performance at distance. When you're talking about the magazines and the ergonomics of the gun, kind of maybe elaborate on that a little bit more. Yeah,
Yep.
I think that's something that could improve. My proof's
Definitely, yeah.
well, everything.
And dude, so here's the thing, dude. Like, I agree with you. Like, that's stuff
Yeah.
that I want to do as well. So I'm
Sure.
totally on board with that. I mean, yeah.
Okay. Well, then we agree. Then we agree. Yeah, there are certain forms of content that you do. I think on your ASMRs, I think it's feminine when you do the tap thing and you whisper in the mic. Take the device. Don't. I've done ASMR on milsurp guns, and it was just the actions, never talking to the camera. Those did well, and that was when I first started doing content. Right.
Sorry, you cut off that entire 20 seconds.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So with ASMR, okay, because I used to do military surplus ASMR way back in the day.
Sure.
I never talked to the camera. I never did the tappity fucking playing with bubble wrap. It was just simply the actions, the gun functioning. I think that would do you well because there's a lot of guys who are going to look at that and be like, this reminds me of a hot tub streamer. This is my advice to you. Take it or leave it. But yeah, I think that if you do that, it's going to be a little different for you. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, thank you for thank you for that. I will take you with a grain of salt. And
for sure.
if you want to watch this Saturday's video on ASMR or tactical ASMR, feel free to do so. It's going to be great.
Sure. All right, well, guys, unfortunately, my
the Nerf content because I think it's great. I think it's freaking awesome and funny. If you don't, that's okay.
I have fun. I have fun when YouTube doesn't nuke me for talking about future scholars and athletes or astronauts. Sorry, but this is your favorite black woman signing off. I have to. My phone's gonna die.
What's the background, really quick?
Of what?
Your background. What's your background? What is that? Pictures.
You want to hear this? All right, so. All right, so here's Johnny Q. That's Jakob. Okay, that's the individual who birthed all of us. Right? Understanding? All right, racially ambiguous Mexican guy. That's. Are you Mexican, Johnny?
I don't want to disclose that.
All right, Spanish. All right, or something. All right, Olight, right there. And then we got the Springfield. It all ties into my suspicions.
You forgot to put like 7 other companies up there, but yeah, that's cool.
Well, those are the big 2.
Sure. Olight's really not they're really not that big. I would say it's right now it's Gideon Optics, like great optics, affordable optics.
Gideon.
Yeah, dude.
I don't even know who that is. Anyway, I have to get up. Listen up, Reddit. You better like this fucking live stream, and I'll see you in the next one. And later.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Austin. You were certainly fun. Yeah, so Johnny, if you want to end it here, that is totally fine, sir. Or if you can stick around, I have about 7 or 8 more super chats to get to that might or might not have some questions or jabs at you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you might have some questions. Yeah, let's do it, man. Yeah, go for it.
All right, well, let's finish it out. Well, I mean, this is 2 hours for me is a long time, so usually I would quit right about this time, but we will finish out because I do appreciate the support. Thank you to everybody coming on. Thanks, of course, to Johnny for doing this. You know, not a lot of people want to come on and confront people that have talked bad about them, right? And I think it was, for the most part, a pretty civil discussion. Andrew Sean. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying, yeah, I think it was a pretty good discussion overall.
Andrew Vachon for $4.99. Thank you very much, sir. If you're not familiar with Andrew, he's my biggest supporter. I view my channel as a marketing agency. We know that is the problem. And yeah, that's something we did talk about, is the marketing mentality versus like just, you know, putting the marketing before putting like.
Sure. And I mean, I would hope, can you still hear me? Okay. I mean, I would hope people maybe kind of like see the behind the scenes as to why I said that, kind of gave it context, but I know I can't make everybody happy or 99% of people who watch me and hate me happy, but that's like the reality of having this channel, right? And I understand, you and other creators that want to be a purist and things like that. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Maybe objectives not the right, but we try to be at least unbiased towards the companies. Because I have my own bias about products that I like you like handguns or have more experience with handguns. I don't like shooting handguns very much. I'm much more comfortable with a rifle. Right?
Sure.
We all have our own personal biases and stuff like that. But I just try and keep away from the shill side.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think
Vintage Warfare.
Yeah, and I have a hard time with that reference, shill.
Well, so it gets thrown around for everything, but shill insinuates a level of dishonesty. For instance, you can talk positively about a product and not be a shill, right? But people use the term
for sure.
Everything.
Right, and I honestly don't think that if I had a bad product, I would talk about it. But to be honest, like I've not received like an outstanding terrible product from really any company. And I thought Getting Optics might be that optic, but they've been running really great for me. And when I shoot pistol, and I shoot them like twice a week. So that's what I have to say about the whole shill thing. I mean, yeah. So I would hope people now understand that I would be honest and upfront. I hope that you, Focus Trip, would be like, oh yeah, for sure. Like I kind of understand a little bit more. So
yeah, I definitely see a lot more where you're coming from now and knowing your history and kind of come from.
Sure.
Yeah. More than just a couple hours ago when I literally had only seen your content. Oh.
Right. No, for sure. Yep.
All right, so moving on here, we got Bucket for $5. Thank you very much, sir. He says, Vintage Warfare in the goon closet, hating on a Latinx for making bank. Sir should stop being so bigoted and acting over surplus prices. Yeah, very bigoted. That black woman, Austin Vintage Warfare channel, is very bigoted. Biggest dick is for $2. Thank you, sir. He says, I am Indian, please. Or help me. I am Indian. Help me. All right, Andrew Vachon for another $9.99, sir. Thank you very much. It says, Johnny, I have sent Focus a Scar 17, an X95, which is right there, LCAN, an ACOG, and an AT-PLC this year. I sent them because I enjoy his content and wanted to see his take on it. Work on making good content. Now, I'll say this about your content. Like, your content looks good, and I've told this to other people as well. Like, it's undeniable that you're good with the videography, the photography, the sound. That's all there. I think what people like, Austin mentioned it a little bit, but people have this like online persona where like we're talking right now and you seem perfectly real. But then like in a video, it's like, you almost like turn yourself up a little bit. You're at like, 110% intensity or not. And I think that can be a turnoff to some people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I don't really, if we were in person, I think you would see that Johnny more. But again, I'm trying to be respectful of your time. This is your stream and of Austin, because I don't know both of you, and I'm coming into this like, am I gonna get gang banged right now by two other dudes? So again, like I think if we all got together, and made content, I think we would all be on the same page and kind of like it'd be really chill. But since it's just me, I feel like I kind of have to make it better in a sense where I think this is boring and people might think, hey, that's good content, where I think, well, that he has no charisma. Why would I want to go buy if he's showing it off like that? Because I do get that pumped about gear and guns. So yeah.
Well, and I think some people just have a personality conflict with somebody who is like hyper focused, or somebody different styles for different people,
Sure. Right. And that's right. And I think definitely not, I'm not going to apologize for like who I am. Like, that's just my videos. That's what I bring. And if people don't want to watch, then that's fine. If it's not good content, well, then that's fine too. But, every time I do push out a piece of product or gear, it goes really well for that brand or company. And, it's cool to see that on that side, even if it's low views, like the conversion rate of that for them or for anybody just seeing it, it's pretty cool to see that too. So, and I know you probably hate that. Like you're like, oh, that's just, oh, it's so bad. But like as who's, I'm doing this as like a business, the ROI is there, and it's
right.
cool.
And it's different priorities too, right? Because like, I have my own company. I work a regular job as well. I'm a delivery driver on free time. So like for me, it's not, if I had to depend on YouTube and treat it as more of a business, I would have to make concessions, right? I just know I would. And so I don't really want to put myself in that position. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's what I would do.
Definitely understand. Yep.
All right. Moving on here. John 499 says this is the problem. He thinks his responsibility is to the company and not the viewer. He can't recognize this or refuses to. Now, I believe this is in reference to like sending product, not making a negative video on the company before you talk to them about it, right?
Yeah, again, I would say like I have not been sent a bad product from these companies. Like Bretta just sent me a gun. Dude, it shoots so nice. Obviously there's more to talk about that, but like I see where you guys are coming from. I see what you're saying, but I haven't received a bad product. And that's I don't know if that's really fair to me. But like hey, I wish this product was bad, but it actually is doing okay. Like I should I be saying that? Maybe that would make people happy and maybe get 15,000 views instead of 10,000. I don't know.
Right. Well, and that's the thing though, is there are times where you're going to have the one good product, right? And it's not your fault that you got the one good product. So I think it's important, just for me anyways, just to make content on the piece that I have, whether it's the good example or the bad example, right? So just put out the good, bad, and the ugly. We can even talk about something conceptually, right? So if I get a bad piece, I can be like, well, if it worked, how it's supposed to, the way it's designed is really good. My sample just doesn't work, right? So that's how I try and look at it. Is I review the sample I get, and so there's different paths.
Totally agree. I'm on board with that. But like I said, if I get that, I would talk about it. Like I was fully prepared to talk about the O site not working. Like I had told Desktop and CivTech, it's not going to work. I know it's not going to work. Like I'm going to make that video, and it happened to work. So,
yeah, so and that's the thing though. And people are unfairly going to call you a liar or call you a shill for
sure
having a good experience. Sure. It's gonna that's just part of being online too.
Right.
Regardless of everything else that we talked about, putting a negative, like when I put out a negative video, there's the defenders that come out and they're like, no, that's not a real problem. And I'm like, well,
right.
You saw it on camera. It's not my fault, buddy.
Yes. Yep.
It is what it is. Pat for 199, thank you very much, sir. He says, JQ, being in Missouri, do you know of any ELR ranges?
Is he saying Missouri?
Yeah, I believe he means misery.
I mean, I just shot on private ranges, so that I don't really know what ELR means.
Extreme long range. So, do you guys have good, good, like open space there?
Do you know what that means?
ELR, extreme long range.
Oh, extreme. Okay. I don't, yeah. I mean, again, I would shoot on private ranges. So
just out of curiosity, what's the farthest you've ever shot out to?
Probably 110 yards or so on that range.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. If you can, like, try and even look up a public range or something that you can shoot out to like 4 or 5. I think that gives you a lot wider perspective on how different rifles perform. So definitely try something out like that out, because that's also fun. It's also a fun time to do that. So all right. Hey, Dozer for 499 says, why promote bad products knowing you'll get hate for it? It doesn't make sense. I get making your own path, but it's not a good look when getting viewers. Now, I'll actually push back on Hey Dozer for this, because like, I'll be honest about how I don't trust a product, but it performed well for me. And so I think it's just about finding that, not even finding that balance, but just being honest. Like I can have a really silly light combo or something. I can talk about how in concept it's really good, but how I don't trust the product. So I think it's fair to review a bad product, even if you have a good experience with it and you're just honest about, your thoughts and experiences with it. All right, moving on. Axiom for $2 says, if you get paid, you can still be subjective. I believe he means to say objective. Like, so for instance,
Yeah.
if somebody handed me $1,000 to talk about a product, I could still give you the honest opinion on it, but to the outside viewer, I think it would very much taint their view of that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
like, let's say somebody paid you $1 million to review, I don't know, a holster, right? People would be like, well, does he actually think that's good, or is it just a wad of cash making them say it's good, right?
Right.
And so, but I know people that make a lot of money reviewing stuff and are honest. It can be done. It's difficult, and it's difficult to avoid the perception of being a paid shill.
Yeah. I mean, like maybe I haven't had enough products out there, but I feel like it's all been. I mean, I feel like it's all been pretty genuine. I mean, nothing in my mind is like, hey, a red flag of, no, you missed that one, but you decided to do this instead. And, that's just me being honest. But, like, I mean, I thought ETS mags were going to crap out. Like, everybody kept saying they're going to crap out the not good magazines. But for some reason, my mags.
Honestly, I've never tried ETS mags because of that exact same thing, is because they have a bad reputation. And so I'm like, why am I going to buy mags that I'm going to use that are like, maybe they will work, maybe they won't work.
Right.
So, but I know people in person who use them and love them, right? But I also know that the reputation is not great.
Right. And I made a video a couple of weeks ago replying to a comment like that, hey, those ETS mags are garbage. I'm like, well, let's see if they're garbage. And I do, just dump it, and it worked, and I've been using those mags for almost a year. So yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, using mags for a year, man, that's not a short amount of time, especially you shoot twice a week. Yeah.
Yep.
Nice. That's nice. All right. I think this is a great one to end it on. John Smith for 190 says, I still don't agree, with you, but respect for coming. Exactly. We don't have to agree on everything, but it is nice to have a conversation, kind of iron out where we stand, take pointers from one another, and kind of, get a little bit of a different perspective on it. So I had a really good conversation, a really good time, even if I was just listening for about 80-90% of the conversation, but still had a good time. So with that, is there anything you want to shill or talk about before we leave? If you want to point people to your page, or you got a link tree or something like that?
No, I'm good, man. I think people can hit enough, but yeah, hopefully. I mean, I took some good points from both of you, creators on YouTube. So I'm going to try to apply those and hopefully make some gooder content in the future here. So
much more gooder. That's what we want.
But yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. And to be clear, my goal isn't to like get rid of people online. I just want people to be better. And instead of, I don't want more bad content creators. I want like more good content creators. That's all I want, right?
Yeah, I mean, does that mean to you that you think my content is bad? And if it is, that's okay.
Your content is my style of content. And I think, like shorts content, it's not my stuff, right? It's just not my stuff. Sure. I haven't watched a lot of your long form reviews, so I honestly can't say.
Sure.
And I mean, I could go back and watch like another channel that PSR, if you're familiar with PSR.
Oh yeah, yep.
His content is really like good in terms of the content, but it's not really my thing, right?
Sure.
So I've talked to PSR. I don't have any problem with PSR, but his content's not really my thing.
Yeah,
it's not a dig at him.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, but once again, I appreciate you coming on here, sir, and to the chat, to everyone here. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the support, for hanging out with us for 2 hours and 23 minutes, which is a perfect place to end the stream. So with all of that, gentlemen, thank you so much. And